Backstage buzz, we prep for the sound. The curtain falls and the crowd's all round. The night's still young and the stage is set. Our voice is ready, no time for regret. Wisdom and laughter in a verbal embrace. Tonight we're ruling this electric space. What a dream when it's time for us. Diving deep in after-show debates. Echoed loud with hot takes so contentious. Hearts race on, our pulse relentless. Yeah, we're alive with every mic. Yeah, like the stars and like the night. Yeah.
Hello, salutations. What do you do? Start the gamer. All Father Drag Gang, no vibes like scrub. Let's get it. And it is not Friday.
It is not.
It is. Well, I mean, it's Friday somewhere. Maybe I don't know how. I don't know how time works.
Nope.
Who knows how time works? It's weird. No one knows. No one understands it. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Point is, it's not Friday. It's a different day. Celtics win game 3. I did not need to see that. You're banned. Ban them. Mods, ban them right now.
Nope.
Ban them right now. Nope, but we are here for a special edition of the Aftershow Podcast because it is a special week in the superhero nerd community because we had the Marvel Rivals Closed Alpha kickoff. So, because certain people were occupied since the Closed Alpha didn't start until literally 8 o'clock when we usually do the show.
Right.
You're like, you know what? We can move it. We've got time. So we're doing it today instead. So we got, of course, we got to talk about the alpha and other stuff that happened with Marvel Rivals. I don't know. Jay might have to
accuse himself.
Take a bathroom break during certain segments. We'll see how that ends up playing out. But we got Miller Ross is in the cards for this evening. Y'all know him. He's been our most frequent guest. He'll pop in at some point later today. The invite has been sent and accepted. So at some point we'll invite him in. He's Marvel Raveling right now, I'm sure.
I got another random Paul Tassi retweet today.
I saw.
And it's always weird. Like I'm sure it like shows up in his recommended or something, but I'm just glad this time it wasn't a Suicide Squad tweet.
Yeah, this one didn't make you look like a show. Wow.
No.
Well, not a show, but you know,
it just made me look like a Magneto enjoyer.
Yeah, which you are. I mean, you do have that Magneto body pillow behind you, so
yeah,
that checks out. So appreciate everyone hanging out. We got Lake Man, Old Man Eastwood in the building. Congrats, Lake Man, on being first. Laquan, who is dead to me. Mega Sith, Lucky Ray, appreciate you hanging out. Sup, Steven? Sup, Michael? How you feeling? How's everyone doing? Hope you're enjoying. This is accurate.
Yeah.
I joined and quit the PC Master Race in a matter of 3 hours.
Yeah. I'm even my PC, like, all right. So part of the problem is I am
old.
Like I'm not like conceding my standards. So like I stream in 1440p
right
all the time and I record in 4K. So like I do that with my PlayStation and Xbox, no issues. I've got the settings pretty good. I play the game on max setting on like there's an optimize button, so I hit it. So I don't know what's going on, man. Like it just runs like a slideshow, but it only happens like in the gameplay. So I don't know.
I saw that. One of many error messages I got while trying to boot up Marvel Rivals today. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but like when I'm not streaming and I'm not recording, the game works great. It's flawless, and actually the game plays great while I am streaming or recording.
Right.
It's just the output through OBS is awful.
Yeah, it looks like absolute dog water.
And I don't understand, because like I'm watching these other people play it, and granted, they're probably playing in 1080 and they're probably streaming in 1080, but
I mean, even Caboose was having trouble. He had to literally end his stream and restart it at one point.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's fun. Well, we'll talk about a certain someone.
Well, we got things to talk about. We're going to talk. Unfortunately, things are looking dire for the company that employs JayShockblast, Microsoft. they had quite a week. We'll get into that.
Sony's not doing too well either right now.
Yeah, but Xbox said, "Hold my beer."
This is true.
could not let Sony have it. Could not, and I will give Xbox credit for one thing. They did not leave Sony to die on the vine. They were like, you know what? We see Sony's having some issues. But let's jump right. Let's take all the attention away and make everyone hate us even more than they do.
Yeah, I don't understand that one, but we'll be getting into a lot of things. But I don't know if you noticed a friend down below.
I don't know what you're talking about. I checked the private chat, and things are officially now. And
okay.
And officially now. Oh yeah, I just noticed Jay. Jay was talking about his Magneto body pillow. I don't know why he keeps talking about that, but we have our guest of honor has arrived. You may know him from Marvel's Avengers. You may know him from his red hot Twitter takes and timely reaction memes. He's been featured in IGN, Forbes, pretty much every gaming publication.
Playgirl.
Definitely Playgirl, which Jay has a subscription to.
Autographed.
Yeah, absolutely. He is a friend of us, friend of the channel, friend to us all, really. He is always looking out for the greater community. He is, of course, Miller Ross in the
Hey, what's up?
What is up? Now, shout out to whoever suggested this. I don't know why I didn't immediately think of it.
Yeah,
but, like I think
it was Foms. He was in the chat.
I was so caught up in all the BS I didn't even consider. Oh wait, Miller might want to come on the podcast. Like it's like kind of the perfect week to have Miller on. Like we always want to have Miller on, but there are certain weeks where it's like, oh, we have to fucking have Miller on. I mean, and what better way and time to have Miller join us when he's officially been handed out a ban from the Marvel Rivals Discord of 999 days.
Well, 998 now.
Yeah, we're moving. And Miller was, of course, not the only person who was penalized by the Marvel Rivals team. Another friend of the channel, High Ruler, felt the wrath because he unfortunately thought it was a good idea to co-stream the developer stream.
To be fair, I warned him multiple times, and I don't know that it's just the fact that he was doing it. I think it's just the fact that he went full blown fuck him verbally.
I mean, I was in that stream, and as far as I could tell, we couldn't hear anything about the streaming not being allowed. There was like some kind of, the stream was like lagging, like every once in a while there was like a glitch in the stream. And I mean, maybe it's possible they could have said that during those glitches, but because I mean, what are you going to do? Technology, you know, Twitch, you know, maybe was having some issues, but we couldn't hear them say anything about them not about you not being allowed to stream the Discord thing. So I found out after the fact. I was just as surprised as everyone else was.
Well, he wasn't the only one that was doing it. There was at least one other person that got booted for also streaming.
Well, I do know that they said not to do it, which is why I kind of tried to warn him. It was not as clear as I thought it was. Like, I saw them talking about it, like, hey, don't do it. The Discord stuff is for Discord. But yeah, I don't know.
It was so there was also someone else. There was another data miner, I believe, who how long is he banned from actually playing the game? Was it 3,000 days?
10 years.
10 years. 10-year ban from playing Marvel Rivals because he was sharing some leaks.
It's surprising to me because I heard through the grapevine that iFireMonkey is not banned.
Yeah.
That he also was not actioned, but like he was posting footage like before the alpha went up. I don't know. The
10 years is fucking nuts. Like what? Like he said, wait, can they? So I'm curious, how does that even work? Like, so it's a free to play game, and so obviously they can't play the closed alpha on whatever code they got. But will they actually be able to enforce that, like when the actual game comes out?
Well, that I'm curious about because they are like wiping account data, right? But
Yeah,
they are sort of maintaining it, like some semblance of account structure or something, because you know the permanent rewards and the beta access that you can earn during this alpha. So clearly they're holding on to something. So I wonder. I mean, if you think about it, if somebody jumps on and they start cheating or something, right?
Right.
Like I don't know that they would want to wipe that going into the beta. So I would lean towards that they are going to hold on to those bans.
But then again, the game is supposed to come out on console as well. So couldn't you theoretically just be like, oh well, I'm banned. Even if they somehow were able to, you know, prevent that PC account from playing it, couldn't you just get it on Xbox or PlayStation and be like, oh.
I mean, he could just get another PC account, like it, you know, just like that on a different Steam account.
Yeah,
it's only problematic during this alpha, but regardless, it is definitely on the extreme side. Like I remember with Avengers, when I got banned for, I think it was 10 days or something.
Yeah. That by the way, one of the all-time best clips. So
yeah, that was a good one. That was like right before it happened too. It was really funny. But actually I think it was Ethan that made that. I think it was Ethan the Human. Shout out to Ethan the Human.
Shout out to
the edit was really funny.
I saw you share it when you were promoting your Marvel Rivals stream. I fucking died. Like
I mean, like that's what I expected to happen, and then I wasn't banned, which was unexpected. I don't know. It all seems very arbitrary.
Extremely arbitrary. Like you've done way more. I mean, granted, you're fucking nuked from the Discord.
I mean, to go so far as to word filter my name.
Yeah, the fact that you're actually Voldemort. You are literally he who must not be named. If someone tries to type in your name, not even just the name Miller, like I think you said someone was trying to talk about this band named the Miller Band.
Oh yeah, I've seen all kinds of people keep sending me screenshots now of them like noticing that it was true because they tried to say like Laura Miller or like something, or like Ezra Miller or something random, right? It just happens to include Miller, being like, oh my god, I think they word filtered your name. But
you literally cannot say the now it would be like the peak of pettiness if they even word filtered Miller with 8 M's.
Well, that's why I responded to him.
Well,
like,
you can't
wait,
type it.
all 8 M's.
Like if you put like Smiller or something, like it still picks it up because it includes Miller, right? So Miller with 8 M's is just as banned.
That's actually nuts. Hold up, let me try.
It's a little.
I'm gonna try something for science. Miller M.
What if you become Ross with 8 R's?
It is indeed true. it just nuked my message.
Like, listen, like what I was gonna say was like when I got banned from Avengers, right? Like for 10 days or whatever. I remember at the time how rare that was. Like it was me and like one guy who'd gotten like okay, so like there was this data miner for like Final Fantasy 14 who they thought they banned, but they banned the wrong account, funny enough. But anyways, they'd like issued a ban for that person on Final Fantasy 14. I think it was a month ban. And that was literally like the only 2 instances that I could find of like in-game bans for data mining. It's, I don't know, like I understand if I'm disruptive or, you know what I mean? They're free to do as they please, obviously. I'm not saying they shouldn't be doing it. You'll never hear that come out of my mouth. But it's definitely funny.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
It's weird. Like it's weird how some companies just lean into it. Like obviously Fortnite leans into it. Like
Marvel Snap.
I don't know anything about that, but Fortnite especially, you brought up Fire Monkey. You know, I follow Fire Monkey. The second the update goes live on PC, he does he? No.
I mean that would have been hilarious.
I thought your ban predated Wags though, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the timeline.
So. Yeah.
It was right around the MCU skins.
Yeah, so that was VWAGS was hired a few months later to start with the shipments thing.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, but like
probably around May or June.
Yeah.
Before like Fire Monkey will sit there and be on stream going through the files at like 4 a.m, and like he'll be posting everything before people wake up, like on the East Coast anyway.
Right.
You know, and it's like it's crazy, and they just lean into it, and I think it actually works for them. There are times though that I'm like, man, I kind of wish that like I could just go log into Fortnite at 8 p.m. when the shop updates and be surprised. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know how I feel, because I feel like, I don't know, maybe you should become a Fortnite leaker.
I would, honestly, but the problem, and I like Fortnite, but like one of the things for me is like, well, I'm not the smartest. Like me versus other data miners, they have certain skills that I don't.
I disagree. I think
no, it's 100% true.
You're the best, Miller. We love you.
But the advantage that I have is like a hyperfixation, really.
Right. Yeah.
So like to start off this early, I get a really good sense of what's there, how it's structured. I do way too much to research and catalog, and so that affords me an understanding where I can, where I can make assumptions and I can fill in blanks where necessary, and I can draw interesting conclusions. And it's an advantage in that space to have such an encyclopedic knowledge of what I'm looking at. For a game like Fortnite to dive into it, what is it, 8 years later?
Yeah.
7 years later? Like, no way. Like, that's way too much of an information deficit. It would take me a year to catch up and really be in the position that I prefer to be in with the games that I do this to.
Fair enough. Also, we would miss you in the superhero.
I mean, you could do both.
I can barely do one, frankly. Like it's a lot. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy.
Not all of us are
hard drive space.
Not all of us are on Phil Spencer's payroll, Jay. He's a busy man.
I heard he is preparing to like nuke someone else for nuking his base.
yeah. Oh yeah, I just saw that. That is actually funny that people that people are not happy with Mr. Spencer, but yeah, Miller is I mean he's a very humble guy, but we definitely I think when it comes to the leaks, I'm more of on the side of I'm fine even encouraging of data mining. I think that's fine. I think I draw the line at I definitely draw the line at hacking.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the criminal stuff, and I mainly like leaking in like the gaming space because and even then I don't like story spoilers. Like I think
Right.
I think certain, and that's why I appreciate Miller because he has a sense and a morality about it where he just won't leak everything he sees. Like he'll hold stuff and filter things because he understands that there's a balancing act and a fine line between putting out enough to so be like, oh man, get people hype and going, and spoiling so much that it kind of ruins the enjoyment of it. And I think that's an important line of drawing. Like when the Spider-Man 2 stuff was happening, I didn't enjoy that at all because they were just leaking the story, and it's like, what the fuck? We're the whole point is to play the game and experience the story.
Right.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what Michael Green was saying. Like some companies are going after like when you leak movie scripts and stuff. Like there is definitely a line. Like I really feel like I agree. I think once you put the files in the game, like people that know how are gonna go looking for it,
Exactly.
And like
I mean,
don't.
they have it. Yeah, like you've handed it to them.
Yeah, so like I understand, like obviously because I deal with a lot of PR people and whatever. I understand their perspective on like when they have their plans set, and like it's just an unfortunate reality that they have to put files in the game in advance, and the intention is not necessarily for people to find it and show it, and where it can sometimes kind of ruin their plans. I understand that and appreciate it, but I don't know. I don't like have as much of an issue when you're just going through the files and you happen to find stuff. You know what I mean? But
yeah, like the situation with Can We Get Some Toast? Marvel just came down hard on their account. They filed a DMCA to subpoena to get their identity, and this person took it definitely beyond like data mining.
I mean, it's tough though. Like I'm hearing mixed thing. Like I'm hearing different rumors about that. Like people were saying that there was no footage. Where's this footage? No one has the footage.
Yeah, I think this might be an excuse to go after him, like and I believe they also would like put stuff behind a paywall. They were just,
that I've struggled with that myself. That's definitely I think playing with fire.
Yeah, like there is definitely a questionable boundary that I'm obviously if Miller had paywalled his stuff, he'd be in a lot more financial situation.
Like I say, like I should start a Patreon or something, but it'll just be like, for $5 you get the privilege of giving me $5. Like I'm not actually gonna put anything there.
Yeah.
Because like I don't watermark stuff even. Like I'm way more into just like here is the information, like here is the truth. And like if you like want to say thank you, like that's cool, but no pressure or anything.
You should at least get yourself some Twitter Blue and like get like $100 a month or something.
Well, I do have that now, but it basically just like pays for itself, honestly.
Yeah,
like
I got $18 yesterday, so
whoa.
I mean, you must be getting way more impressions than me.
I got $12, so suck it.
Ooh, I beat Sadot at something.
Well, get this. I got you both beat. I got $26.
Oh man.
I will say though, like I was just talking to Sadot about this before. I got the random Paul Tassi retweet today, and I'm sure it's because like the algorithm shows him my tweets, because he doesn't follow me, and I'm fine with that. Like I don't need Paul Tassi to follow me. I'm a horrible follow.
I can vouch.
Yeah, like there are days that I'm a little overboard, so like I don't need that pressure. But yeah, like it works when it wants to. But I feel like all the tweets that I want to actually like do any kind of numbers never do. Yeah, it drives me nuts.
Yeah, because you haven't mastered the art of engagement baiting. You do it accidentally.
Yeah, it's always accidental, and it's always the ones where people are yelling at me. I've actually had a really, really good like month or two of not like having any moments really.
It's actually impressive whenever you do go.
I'm trying.
But it is very entertaining. Obviously from your perspective, I'm sure it's irritating.
No, but like sometimes when I do that, like I'm just fucking bored. Okay, like leave me alone. I just want to like reverse troll. I'm sorry that I'm petty. You know.
Never apologize for being petty.
Exactly.
It's a superpower.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So obviously you know, us PC Master Race people have had the opportunity to play the game. Who are you enjoying so far?
Oh, I'm loving Penny. I think Penny's. It's funny because like watching everybody's movesets and stuff like before, and obviously like reading the text and everything, I was pretty convinced. I mean, I had seen some footage behind the scenes of specific characters, but nobody that I was like, oh, that's mine. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, like it's clicking. And once I finally saw Penny, I'm like, that looks like a very annoying character to deal with. And that's my favorite kind of character. You know what I mean? Like just to get people tilted and do stupid stuff. Like I love that like she's a tank, so she has a really high HP pool, but she doesn't really shield anybody in the traditional sense. Like it just allows her to be more annoying and sustain and pull off stupid plays that she has no business pulling off. It's so funny. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying Penny.
Sadot, who do you enjoy watching people play?
The character I enjoy watching the most, no one wants to fucking play. Like every time I'm either seeing Luna Snow, Mantis, Punisher, or Hulk or Spider-Man. Where's Storm, damn it?
I had before the show, I had a couple matches where someone on the other team was Storm. I fell into Magneto. Like I wasn't expecting to want to play as Magneto, but he's kind of my style. He's got pretty good hit points, and I don't know. I'm starting to like get used to the way he just flings his little, projectiles. I figured out today that if you actually hold the left trigger down, he has like these 3 special projectiles with the left trigger, and if you hold the trigger down, he'll fire all of them at once. And if you hit, it's like almost an insta kill. And if you're teamed up with Scarlet Witch, he has like this extra sword attack, and it's absolutely brutal. Like I had like a 12 kill streak with it.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it? Like
it looks like a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm not into the popular hero shooter as much. I've played it before.
That shall remain nameless.
Yeah.
For literal legal reasons.
Yeah. I also, the main reason is because I find myself in situations where I'm like, how did I die? Way too much. Like, wait, what happened? And it's things that you don't have any control over. Because there's people like Miller Ross that play the game and just play it to annoy people.
That's true.
So yeah, but it was really fun.
Was that feels like that shade at Suicide Squad.
You want to hear some shade at Suicide Squad? Oh my god, this comic book. Okay.
You still didn't redeem it?
I did redeem it. I bought it on Tuesday and redeemed it. Okay. And it didn't go into my game. So after 12 hours, I sent a message. I wake up to some customer service rep saying, "Oh, we added it to your game." And I'm like, "Okay, log on." Not there. And I didn't read the rest of it. I just like, "Oh, you added it. Okay, cool. Yeah, hey, it's still not there." And he's like, oh, it could take up to 72 hours. Like, well, that's dumb. Every code I've ever redeemed has been in my account within 3 minutes tops.
72 hours.
Yes. So I've been checking like every like 3 or 4 hours. Today was 72 hours. So I messaged him like, it's still not in my account. I checked like a half hour before the show. So I responded to the email and said, hey, it's been 72 hours, still not there. Literally as the show started, WB support at 8:19 p.m.
Not the timestamp.
Yeah. I'm taking over the email on behalf of blah. I see you still have not received the doll reward for the 4th comic issue. For this one, I have granted another doll to your game account. In addition, please be advised it may take 72 hours to appear in your account. I'm like, are you telling me that I'm about to wait a week to get a fucking doll in my game? Like, seriously, it's a doll. Like, I know I shouldn't care. I only care because I haven't gotten it yet. Like, it's just such a simple thing. Like, just put it in my game. How is this complicated? Okay. Like,
I remember when I had problems with the Twitch drop skins because every time I would redeem them, they would never show up in the game. But whenever I hit up customer support, they just added it in like a few minutes. Like,
right. And that's what it should do. And I'm tempted to like just load it up and see if it I don't know what happened.
I think someone's just fucking with you.
I don't know.
There's absolutely no way they can legitimately have this much trouble putting that in your game. I think they're just trolling you, Jay.
I feel like they might be.
I think they read your Twitter. They're like, hey, is that JayShockblast? Oh, he keeps asking us about these fucking cosmetics every week.
How do you go 3 weeks with nothing new?
Yeah,
especially like
what's going on, Miller? I meant to ask you, where the fuck are their skins?
You know what? I don't have a goddamn clue. Like I've been avoiding talking about it like on my Twitter and stuff because genuinely like it feels like punching down. Like I don't want to.
I mean, it is kind of at this point.
You know what I mean? Like I don't. If something's very clearly wrong, and I don't want to have to be there and be like, you know, burying it even further down. But it says a lot for them to be like, hey guys, surprise, we're doing weekly updates on the shop. And then like 2 weeks later, that plan ends with like no explanation, no fanfare, and then just nothing.
Their last 2 updates were the Easter skins, or last 3 updates, the Easter skins, then the second wave of homemade, and then Gentleman Ghosts. And they got roasted so much for Gentleman Ghosts, they were like, okay, let's just maybe not do anything ever.
Yeah.
And that was all that was in the patch. Like there's nothing else for them to release that was like done and just sitting in your client right now. Like it would take another patch for them to have new skins out. And frankly, it's been a while since the last patch. So I would have expected there to have been one like that, to have them say like, oh, weekly skins. At that moment, I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. There's like enough here that they could, you know, go until the next patch or whatever. But like, did that patch get canceled? Like what happened?
I just don't understand like how we're in this position. Like they delayed the game like 10 months, I think. And like what were they doing during that time? Like I don't understand. Like you have an art team, and I did see was it Del Walker? He deleted the tweet. We talked about this before. He talked about how like, you know, it's a balance of the cost involved for making the skins. It's actually harder than you think. And do you want to like invest in having a bunch of them ready to go and have the game fail and never never get your return on it, or have just enough or have a little less and work on them as you go? But I can't imagine them being that complicated.
Well, no, but I mean, even if you take that exactly as it's written, then that doesn't really, you can't really reconcile that with however many weeks ago them saying weekly updates and then the no more weekly updates. And also too, like, I don't know, a lot of it was kind of like, who would buy that?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like when I saw that Del Walker, I'm like, okay, yeah, but then I mean, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just weird. But if I was going to take door number 2 and say, okay, let's have a relatively limited number, see how it goes, I would front load all the skins that I know are going to sell.
And it seems like they don't they really don't have their finger on the pulse of what customers wanted, because if you look at the lead up to episode 1, right? They never revealed the Joker skin, the Joker Classic skin. They talked about every other skin, all the ones in the Battle Pass. Here's the homemade JLA. They showed off the recolors more, and they never announced the Joker Classic skin. They just dumped it on the shop unannounced, which is insane because it's the nicest skin in the game. Like,
yeah, it is wild. I agree with you. It's really wild to me that you have this Joker season and you don't have, like, you're doing Gentleman Ghost themed skins, but you didn't think to, I don't know, do Joker themed skins for the other characters. Like, all right, you know,
or Bane themed,
right,
or Scarecrow themed.
Yeah, like, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you've got all these characters that you're putting weapons out for. Why aren't you putting out skins for them? Like, imagine like a Two-Face theme skin pack for all the characters, you know? Imagine Deadshot in like Joker armor with a mask that is like all Deadshot Joker-fied, you know what I mean? Like, these would sell. And we're not even getting into like movie stuff or like comic skins.
Or
we're just
animated,
talking about,
or the animated series.
right? Like, just imagine like just that simple thing right there, you know what I mean?
And then when they have these long stretches, like, because it's like they've pretty much abandoned the shop so far. Season 1 episode 2 doesn't look like it's going to come out until the end of the month.
What the hell is that about?
Whatever. So then now there's nothing to talk about except when an inevitable bad story comes out, and now that's what everyone's talking about, is that instead of talking about episode 2 or the new weekly skin, people are talking about them allegedly losing $200 million, which isn't even what happened, but people are running with the story because there's nothing else.
Yeah. I feel like what do we always say? Capte is the last Avengers standing, something like that. I feel like I'm the last Task Force X member standing. Like,
right.
And I just like, I feel bad. Like, and this is one of the things I struggle with. Like, I feel like I'm always honest. I'm always going to tell you how I really feel. But like, when you meet these people, it changes. It's different. Like, you've had that one-on-one connection, you know? Like, I'm going to have a hard time. Like, Miller, if you were going to do something like leak wise or whatever that I didn't agree with, I would have a very hard time telling you that. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing like with this. It's like, man, I don't like going hard against these people because I know them. I know they care. I know that they don't want this. I know they're trying, but like, what the hell? You know, like, at what point, like, I just don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hate that I'm like, I feel like I'm part of the echo chamber now, just bitching every day.
Yeah, I haven't even logged in a while.
Oh gosh, I almost missed that last Easter skin, and then they like decided randomly to put them all back for a day, so I managed to get it, which was nice. But that was like honestly the last time I played it, and that brings me to the coverage right now is really annoying me, because it's one thing to use the Steam numbers as like an indication,
right,
just in general, because you don't really get sort of like a breakdown of how the sales split over the platforms, but no one makes any mention of how broken the PC port is right now. Like, like, of course 70 people are playing it. Have you played it? It's awful.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's terrible. And it's gotten so much worse. Like, for no one to cover that angle is so lazy and disingenuous. Drives me nuts.
Yeah, Hyrule literally just couldn't play it like recently.
Yeah, I tried taking it to Digital Foundry. Like, I spoke to one of the guys at Digital Foundry, who I love, and I really wanted them to do like an update on their Suicide Squad coverage, just to go over how terrible the PC port is now. but they won't touch it because there's just no interest.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, it's a business for them. They want views, and that's not going to get views.
Yeah, I realize that I'm sitting here like every day logging into the game trying to see if I have a stupid weapon doll, realizing when I make the video about it, it's going to get like 400 views.
I mean,
You know?
That's more than people playing on PC. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
it's something.
It's a sad situation all around. Like,
it's yeah.
You reach that point in, like, you know, in a sort of a very closed off marketing, as they do, where they just can't talk because there's nothing really to say that's like positive, you know. So they just end up in this holding pattern, and, you know, promises slip away. They get cagier and cagier about dates, and it's like, you know, behind the scenes that that's a fire.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, and to be fair, I've noticed in some ways they've been trying more. Like, I noticed that the Twitter account has been more active. They've been like tweeting out teases of the upcoming gear and look, oh, let's check out the weapon. Oh, look at this new piece.
And they put the perks on them finally.
Yeah, we actually got to see the perks. Yeah, so yeah, and with some perks, I was looking at like, oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm like, okay, yeah, but then you read the blog and it's it's like a paragraph. Yeah. It's like, yeah, here's this update we're doing to mastery, and yeah, see you next week.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just, and like, I did finally like have a moment this week where I was like, you know, I feel like in this game in particular, like, people just love to go after it and everything. And I've had a lot of my positive coverage like covered and everything. And I feel like I put my reputation on the line because I believed in the things that I was told and the game that I thought it would be. And then it failed so miserably. And then like it failed miserably because of how poorly it launched, you know, and how people just literally couldn't play. But then like I kept being told, all right, well, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And it wasn't fine. And now I'm like feeling like, man, like all these people came after me and like, what was the point, you know?
Yeah, you kind of feel like asshole, kind of like when Crystal Dynamics told you that the XP boosters are not going to be sold.
Right. That's a good example. They marched us out there. We said, hey, this is what they told us. And then they did it, you know?
Yeah, it made you look like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I think that was a little more like, I think that's actually worse than this situation, but still, it's a good example.
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, like, for the next 3-4 years of my life, I'm gonna have people in my replies being like, oh, what happened to Suicide Squad? Why aren't you playing Suicide Squad? Like, as if to say, like, haha, you liked it and it failed. And it's like,
that's just
totally
stupid gamer culture lately.
Absolutely. But it's like, you know, when you have a platform like this and you associate yourself so much with that game, it really does tie your reputation to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
well, I saw someone suggest that you might be cursed. Like we joke about the Avengers curse, but I mean, if you look at the games Miller's been known for data mining,
but it's like two, you know.
And then Marvel Rivals. I mean, fortunately, Marvel Rivals, from what I tell, is a good game. It's just all the bullshit is happening.
Well, let's be honest. Marvel Rivals is doing better right now than Suicide Squad and Avengers ever did combined.
100%.
Like, oh yes, like, I think the curse is broken. Okay.
Yeah,
you know what's weird to me though, and this is hero shooters in general. We'll use the other one. We're not going to talk about Marvel Rivals. Let's talk about Overwatch, okay? One of the reasons I could never stay into Overwatch is because, even more so than Suicide Squad, it's literally the same thing over and over again. You know? You're just, oh, let's follow this car. All right. Oh, we got there. Cool. You know? And it's just weird to me that people like are okay with that, but like it's weird the way that like the game loops, like people will use it against certain games but not others. You know what I mean?
I
It's
think it
because of the PvP, because the
Yeah.
moment to moment gameplay is so decided by the variables of the human mind. Like like chess is the same thing every game, you know what I mean? But some games suck, some games are great. Like, there's moments that have lit cultures aflame in chess. Like,
Sure. But that's also been my point about Helldivers.
I think that's a better.
Oh.
I would say that's a better
Yeah.
example because a PvP game is very very different experience. But Helldivers is a game that there's not a ton of variety. You're essentially going down, going from point of interest to point of interest, doing different objectives and running for your life all the while. And I think that's part of the fun. It's more grounded, and there's actually a lot of cooperative elements to it. Like like working as a team is actually highly recommended, and people I think just kind of resonated. Plus, it's got great memes. whereas Suicide Squad is also fun to play with other people. It's just that
right.
the loop
this
is
is the
less
reason.
engaging.
This is the reason I've said like Suicide Squad needs QVK so badly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like now it's at a point where I don't know if it would do much. But when times were a little better, like QVK could have gone so far because it creates that moment to moment diversity that you get from PvP. Like,
I think the point more that I was trying to make is that like I don't understand how like it feels like you're just doing the same thing over and over again is an argument that's used as a crutch.
Oh, totally.
Like in a lot of cases.
But I think the problem with Suicide Squad is that the end game loop isn't that is kind of mind numbing. Like there's no like there's no raids. Like there's no like for other games, like there's some kind, even if you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's more dynamic. Like going into this little map, going from rooftop to rooftop, killing a bunch of enemies and then restarting the mission. That's pretty much the end game loop for Suicide Squad. You drop in, you pick your farm, you drop in, you pop off all your abilities, kill the enemies, go to the end, look at your loot, go to the next thing, and rinse and repeat. Whereas Helldivers, you drop in with this epic music, and you come in with your people, and you have to explore this big alien planet, looking for the different director, being strategic, never be on the lookout for bug breaches or literal robots sending out flares if you trigger them, and sending in giant airships, and everything comes crash. Like it gets really, even if the objectives themselves are like a set amount, every mission in Helldivers doesn't really feel the same because how chaotic and random and get. Whereas Suicide Squad, I can literally play the end game stuff with my eyes closed. like there's no right. I know it's gonna, like, I know my build. I'm not going to take any damage. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to stop time. I'm going to drop bombs and shoot, and it's going to be over in a couple minutes, and then I'm going to rinse and like it's not as engaging.
No, I understand that. I just meant like in the grand scheme of things, like not like necessarily digging too deeply into it. There are absolutely valid criticisms. I'm just saying, like, it's just weird to me how it's sometimes okay to be repetitive. Like Avengers dealt with the same thing. Oh, I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. We're doing the same raid over and over again, and that's fine. But like, I don't know, people enjoyed it too.
Sometimes repetitive is just synonymous with bad.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think it's just like they're not necessarily articulating what exactly it is that they're feeling, but I think the feeling that they're getting essentially is that, oh, I think this sucks. It doesn't engage me. I think that's what they're trying to say, and I can understand that it's definitely something that the game has struggled with, and it could have benefited from. But yeah, I think the PvP would be fun, but unfortunately, I have no fucking faith that it's going to work. like you know how we famously, me and Jay have had many adventures trying to get the multiplayer and Suicide Squad to work, and the idea of what it would be like 8 people on the map. Was it 4v4
for QV whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 4v4v4v4. So, but after the first round, 4 get eliminated. After the second round, another 4, and then in the finals, it's just 2 teams of 4 left.
Yeah, there's no way in fuck that's gonna work.
I mean, is that what the finals is? Something like that.
I haven't played it.
I haven't either. So
yeah,
exactly. But like Fortnite has like this living world, you know what I mean?
And that's also the PvP element. Yeah, like I think if they could make it work, like it could be fun in Suicide Squad, but I mean, could they make it work? That's that's ambitious.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem that Suicide Squad is always going to have is that in their mind, they had this idea of something that's kind of cool with the Elseworlds and with this constantly changing metropolis and with these different wacky characters. And they just thought that people were going to embrace it. And I feel like if people did embrace like all their weird little ideas, then it could have been a different story. But the problem is, like, fans want what they want, and Gentleman Ghost, I'm sorry, is not a meal ticket. You know what I mean? Like, it never was gonna be. So, like, I get what they were trying to do, but what they were trying to do is just too abstract. You know what I mean?
Even then, I just thought the execution just wasn't
right.
Yeah, I thought, like, if it was a Gentleman Ghost suit where they were wearing like full like 3-piece suits and stuff with like the hat, and there was like somewhere to go with that, but it was literally like a recolor of the damn.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, that's I was just like,
and also too, like the worst part of these like pseudo recolors, like the event stuff, and now the Gentleman Ghost set is like they're technically like they're different sets, so you can't mix and match them or use that color scheme on like other pieces like from that like it's just it feels like a cheap nasty cop out, and it's like I'm not paying money for that, and who would like and it I mean, well, that's fair.
I bought one. I bought Deadshot.
Show.
I did it because I thought I'd be the only one.
Also, shout out to G Mixer's game in the chat. Enjoy your 10-year ban from Marvel Rivals.
I'm just shocked that like he is banned and I am not banned, and Fire Monkey is not banned.
Yeah,
like,
you're only banned. You're only banned from the Discord, but they still want you to play the game.
I don't know.
Is it a clout thing?
I mean, I don't know. I said like there's stuff that I'm not saying that I would say if I got banned, because then I'd have nothing to lose. But like, but I don't even know if they were listening.
I mean, they could have been. Like you left the threat. Like I know where the bodies are buried.
I know I saw somebody mention the G Matrix thing, but like, what if is there is there a story behind it? Like what did he do?
Oh, okay. So he posted images, like the actual images. I was just posting text and describing things.
Oh.
He posted images of Cloak and Dagger, Hawkeye, a couple other characters.
Isn't that what did Fire Monkey do that too though?
Fire Monkey posted 30 minutes of footage from the game days before the closed alpha started.
And that never got taken down.
To this day, they never took it down.
Yeah, that's
and
unfortunate.
he also posted a bunch of screenshots too, like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah, it is wild. Like we were saying earlier, it's wild the way that like different companies handle it.
Yeah, even even within like it just some of this stuff just seems so just arbitrary and unnecessarily silly. Like why? Like I understand you want people to go into your Discord, but
Well, do they? Like, I don't know. It seems like they're
mean,
kicking a lot of people out of there.
I mean, obviously, apart from the riffraff, of course, but but
like, here's the thing too that I don't understand. Like, if people go in that Discord, right, and you're like, hey, like, what about the keys or whatever, right? Like, can I get a key? Like, I mean, if somebody, okay, well, let me go a step further than that. That would have been disingenuous. If somebody goes to the server and they say, can I buy a key? I'll give $10 to somebody if they can give me a key. And they ban you, right? Like they ban you from the server.
Right.
Like that, I just think is weird. Like, why wouldn't they just mute you? You know what I mean? Like take away like your permission to post. Like, can you still, well, I don't know. I just find it, it reads to me like a fan community. You know what I mean? Where it's just,
there's probably some legalities there as far as like saying, hey, I want to buy like these free things that are being given away. I'm sure there's something in the terms of service that they're not for sale too.
Yeah, definitely. But like, I mean, they write the terms of service, so it's like it's not as if it's the law. I don't know. It just.
I'll tell you what though, the amount of like I've enjoyed going into other people's streams and asking if they have codes to give away. Because let me tell you,
I've got so many comments and DMs. Like,
oh yeah, I've been getting DMs too.
Yeah, I mean,
I've got several DMs.
I mean, here's the thing though. It's just like, to me, hooray! You know what I mean? Like, thank God. Like that speaks to a huge interest in this game, that people are like, fuck the rules. I have money. You know what I mean? Like. That's great. Like, obviously, you don't want anybody getting scammed or anything, but like, let's celebrate that. Like,
I got my level 6 skin or level 6 code just before we started, and I only remembered to look because a dev from another game like DM'd me and was like, hey, do you have any of those codes? I'm like, I actually might.
I don't care. Did you see how fast they went today? 8 minutes.
Oh, I thought it was less than that.
I timed it. It was 8 minutes.
Yeah, because when I logged on at 8 o'clock, or I logged on like 7:58, and then at 8 o'clock I clicked it, and it said it was already at 30% left.
Yeah,
38% left. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like in the hero menu reading the lore, and 8 o'clock hit, and I'm like, oh, let me just finish the one that I'm reading. And so I just took like a couple seconds to finish the last paragraph, and then I ran over and it was down to like 21% or something. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I managed to get it. So
yeah, there was somebody on like the subreddit Discord, which I'm on. I'm allowed in that one. That was asking about the codes and stuff like a couple hours before. And so I added him, like, hurry, like they're only going to be up for another couple minutes.
Yeah. And here's a pro tip to anyone who's trying to get a code from content creators. You will increase your chances of getting a code exponentially if the first thing that you say in chat is not asking for a code.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I even have like a longtime follower in my Discord that like asked if I had an extra code, and I'm like, bro, come on. If I had extra codes, I would tell people. Like,
Jay is fresh out of codes.
Yeah, I was trying to help creator friends out. Like, because Sadot did not get his extra codes, and he was not selected, so I was trying to get him in. I got Jay Kuhn in.
Yeah, I could have gotten my extra codes if I sold my soul.
Yeah, I sold my soul.
You would have had codes and you wouldn't have been able to play.
True,
Yeah.
but I would have been able to give out codes, so I still would have been able to.
Yeah, you literally could have just put a video of the title screen on in the background and sat in the category and had like 1,000 views giving away codes.
Just giving away codes. I mean, I could still do. I might still do that, but but like I was very adamant about making sure I revised the contract because I was like, I'm not signing this shit.
Did they ever? Well, that's probably a question for another time.
They did. Well,
I know what you're going to ask, and yes.
Does it apply to me though?
No.
No.
Well,
I know. I know what you're going to ask, and no, your booty hole belongs to them. I'm sorry. For all eternity.
Well, I wasn't doing anything with the booty hole anyway, so.
Yeah, well, so
Perfect.
there you go. Maybe you'll discover some joys you never knew.
I opened myself up for that.
They'll open you up for sure.
Well, speaking of getting opened up, hey Sadot.
Oh God.
So I saw I saw the PC that you bought to play Marvel Rivals, and I know you're not a PC guy, right? Like that's okay.
I'm a Sony pony.
That's totally fine. But to anybody in chat that is a PC guy, I just have to say, Sadot bought a PC with integrated graphics. I just have to. No one's gonna laugh, but there's somebody that's watching this right now that's laughing, and that one's for you.
To be fair, I showed it to Jay, and he approved of it.
I did not read the graphics card part.
Cap. Jay sabotaged me for the record.
No, all I read was I was like it had 16 gigs of RAM.
I said, Jay, this thing I'm wearing. Is this good? He was like, oh, looks good. I was
I said like 16 gigs of RAM. I didn't recognize the graphics card, but I was like,
it doesn't have one. That's why.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, whatever. I mean, the RAM is probably fine. It's a little. I have 64 gigs of RAM, and
that doesn't mean anything. Like the size of your RAM is like once you hit a certain threshold, that's all gravy. Like the most important thing on it is the speed, and you got to dig for that speed. And even then, half the time it's like not clocked properly.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a 3080 and I've got a Ryzen 9 5850.
So lesson is never go to Jay for tech advice. Go to Miller.
Well, like pre-builds in general are a scam, especially if they're by a company that's like known for pre-builds, like a Dell or a Lenovo or something like that. Like no, like if you get like a bundle that's like pre-built through like a computer store, that like might be worth it. But for the most part, yeah, pre-builds are like a huge waste of money.
They're speaking a language of people that need to be stuffed in lockers. You fucking nerds.
Listen, I just went to Micro Center and said, let's make this happen. Give me as much Corsair stuff as you can. Since my sponsor Elgato is owned by them.
Oh,
and
you should have asked them for something.
Hashtag spawn.
Asked who?
Corsair.
Oh, they contributed to my computer.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
In ways.
Mm-hmm.
So no, Miguel actually was like, when mine broke, he's like, do you want me to like check through the warehouse and see if we have any extra parts? Do you know what's broken? And I just like, you know what? I just think I need to get a new one at this point. And he goes, all right, let me see what I can do.
Love that.
I will stand Elgato forever.
J Clout Bass.
They are like such an amazing company to work with, and I am very fortunate.
What the fuck are you doing here? What's up, man? Sorry, that's my childhood friend / big time music producer, PC Beats.
Ooh.
We need some tea. Tell us about Sadot before he was famous.
Shut. He will do no such thing. I will ban him and curse him out on the phone later.
He is on Twitter, or X.
Anyone that calls Twitter X should be punched in the face.
That says you're a cop. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what
it's
is you know what's so annoying is watching or reading like an article, as seen on Twitter or on X, formerly known as Twitter.
that always gets a laugh out of me. Like, but you know what I'm noticing now is like, you can spot if an article or like any piece of copy is AI generated that talks about gaming, because they will, I don't know why they all say this, but it's the gaming community. Like, just keep an eye out. If you ever see the gaming community, it's like an AI tell. Very weird.
Yeah, there's definitely a certain kind of patterns in the language of AI generated stuff that you can pick up on. Yeah, I will never ever. It will never be cool to call this X.
No, and I mean, it's still Twitter. Like, I was dealing with DMCA claims, and it all still is like Twitter Help Center. Like,
yeah, I refuse. Twitter, yeah, even Twitter X. I'm not. I wouldn't even call it Twitter. It's just Twitter. Like Twitter X to me feels like the Facebook. like no, it just doesn't work. It's just Twitter. It's just one word.
What's weird now too is like seeing like newer games websites. You know, they've got all the little social links, and they have like the X link. Like, it's like,
wonder
me out.
Wonder where that leads.
Yeah, it does stand out a little bit.
It leads to Twitter, which is also at this point, let's be honest, has just as much adult content as.
Yeah, you can't post anything without the titties, man. And don't get me wrong, that's great, but like, I don't know. It's like, time and place.
Remember when we were having a conversation with Gina?
The
porn bot that responded.
Oh,
she was so nice.
Yeah. I like responding to them sometimes. It was just because it's funny.
He just says really rude things.
I do. I say like very rude things because I know they're not real.
It's like, you ever see those like people that'll post like screenshots of DMs from scammers, and they'll like go off on them and stuff,
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yee.
See, I should have gone to Lejeune instead of Jay. He would have steered me in the right direction.
I'm shocked you didn't come to me.
I came to Jay, Mr. $5,000 PC.
It came to $5,000 because I bought the 3-year warranty, which was worth every penny.
It wasn't?
Yes, it's the only time I've ever done it, and my hard drive crashed twice, and all I did was brought it to Micro Center, and they popped a new one in, did everything for me, and walked right out with it. So, yeah, I was not messing with how much we were spending. The warranty was like $400, I think, for 3 years. For everything that like I was buying, like at the time the 3080 was like just out, like the motherboard, all that stuff. Like I was like, I'm not going to spend all this money and have something go wrong within 3 years and like be screwed over $400. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's pricey, man. It's very pricey. Like when I built my PC, my motherboard died like I think a year later or something. God, it was a nightmare going through, because when a part fails, ideally what you do is, because you don't know what failed, is going through a troubleshooting process of like part replacement and seeing, like, isolating what the broken part is. But that was the only PC I had. Like, I didn't have parts lying around and stuff. And it can be tough, man. It's like, those guys who are like always working on their cars. Yeah. Like, you got to be like that with your computer, basically.
Yeah. And I don't want to be. I'm too old. I will admit I'm a boomer.
I don't have the patience.
Yeah.
I have a Mac and I have a PS5. I like convenience.
Yeah.
I love my PC.
Yeah. What else we got?
I don't know. PC players kind of remind me of like Elden Ring players. Like you just like it feels like part of the draw is that you enjoy just being absolutely fucked over over and over again and suffering.
Yeah, and this is why, like, when people are like, "Oh, why do you have an Xbox? Just get a PC." This is why. This is literally why. Because I would rather just plug my Xbox into my Elgato and like not have problems. You know?
That would be ideal. That's why I'm looking at Marvel Rivals. Looks fun, but I'll check back in once they announce the console or beta test.
Yeah.
I'll be all over that one. But yeah, till then, yeah, I'm out on that one. But yeah, someone in chat mentioned our boy B Wags, and it reminded me that it was actually kind of perfect because I was looking at some of the news that was going on with what we could cover, and it's definitely perfect that Miller's here because a certain game by a certain studio that you're very familiar with has recently popped up in the news.
Oh,
Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark popped up in the news, and and we can tie that into the larger issue with Xbox going on. But yeah, so the tea around Perfect Dark was there was a report from Jeff Grubb mentioned that basically development was kind of a shit show. It was it was in a rough spot, and then recently another insider came out and said that that's outdated and that they're going to do a reveal for Perfect Dark next month, and that was kind of like a back and forth thing. But when I heard that, I was like, wait a minute, Miller had the scoop on that like last year, and I'm going to take his word on that. Also, the fact that I know who's making this game.
Well, here's the timeline. There was a bunch of development issues like very early on, and stuff was sort of popping up everywhere. That was like around the time that Crystal got involved.
Yeah.
Then I don't forget who it was, but someone came out and talked about Perfect Dark being a mess. And then I did my like Avengers is shutting down thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Classic.
I mentioned on Reset Era that Perfect Dark was definitely coming out like at least a year after Tomb Raider because development was a fucking mess. And I that comes from like a few things. It's sad though because like this industry, and I don't just mean scooping or like
Right.
or gaming news, but gaming development and just sort of what orbits around that. There's this sense of like be nice, like don't name names,
Mm-hmm.
like the problems that surface around this space, they come from people. They are choices that people are making. Like there's more than just Bobby Kotick making mistakes out there and
Right.
and hurting people. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people doing bad things in this industry. And so what I was working on like an Avengers postmortem for a while, and one of the focuses of that for me was going to be like the culture at Crystal Dynamics and how that contributed to Avengers and how that sort of contributed to its downfall.
Yeah.
And how it continues to plague them and how it came to be. The studio is run right now by Ron Rosenberg and Scott Amos, who are like co-studio heads. They took over for Daryl Gallagher, who left and ultimately started the initiative, right? So when Perfect Dark was a bit of a shit show, he partnered up with his old studio, Crystal Dynamics, and the leadership structure at Crystal Dynamics is basically still there from his time. Like people just sort of went up a level. It's very much still the same studio that he left. You know what I mean? So it's not a huge transition for him to work with them. But the problem with that is he ran, it's He was not a good boss. Terrible crunch culture, like one of the worst in the industry. And the studio is run very much like there's haves and have-nots. There's the studio leadership and the people that they like, and that's totally separate from any sort of merit-based system based on like how good people are at their job, their performance. It's inside, apparently it's very, very arbitrary, and also it's very obvious who is and is not on leadership's good side. Like we know in the lead up to Avengers, they did a lot of like drinking and like karaoke nights and stuff, and that was really only for that class of like accepted people.
So it's basically high school.
It is a little cliquey, yes, definitely. There was notably it's a cycle of problematic behavior that goes so much further than any one specific thing. One source that I spoke to at Crystal volunteered a story about expressing suicidal ideations during like the worst of the crunch leading up to Avengers, and then the response that they seemed to receive from that was like a couple days later they get to work, puppies, like they brought puppies to comfort everyone, and that's sort of like their solution to those kinds of problems. Like they really don't have an issue shoving people into a meat grinder, and it's gross. It's frequently very gross. They do like raffles, so if you like, you don't have to stay, but you have to stay. And to reward you get these like raffle tickets, and the prizes are like a gift card, a PlayStation controller, like, you know what I mean? Or it's like, okay, everybody's been working like 16-hour days. How do we reward them? Let's get pancakes. Like, let's do catering. Like, it never occurs to them to pull back on the crunch at all. And they do it relentlessly multiple times a year. It's a never-ending cycle with them, and they've never really been put on blast for that. It's never really like, people don't tend to last very long in Crystal if they value their desire to continue in the industry and don't want to kiss ass. But also too, some of the people that kiss ass aren't particularly good at their jobs, and then get rewarded majorly. I know that both of you know people like that. Not even the people I'm thinking of, but that just happens so frequently at that studio. I will say this, I can think of one person at that studio who was beloved by fans, who hustled for years to keep a starving community alive. They adored her. Not everybody, but most of them adored this person. And she got shit canned in a round of layoffs and replaced by somebody who is not good at their job, but who is famously very close with his boss. And that's really par for the course of the studio. So to hear that Perfect Dark is having trouble, a lot of that blame does tend to go to Microsoft, but people don't know like how much of a shit show Crystal is. Like during the worst crunch on Avengers, like you have to understand too, like their pay is also a little below industry standards, and they were at that time in one of the most expensive parts of California, so people couldn't afford to work at that studio and live in that area. So in addition to working like a 12-14 hour shift, you'd have an hour and a half drive to get home to a neighborhood that you could actually afford to live in. So people weren't seeing their kids like grow up. Like it was miserable. And so usually what happened, it's been brought to me, usually what happens at Crystal Dynamics is people are sort of courted with this, like, we have this like, don't you love Tomb Raider? We're like at the forefront of like video game history. This is so historic. Like you get to contribute to something amazing that's timeless. And they are able to attract like a very high caliber of talent for that reason. But when the game actually ends up coming out, they have a huge wave of attrition. Like people leave because they get screwed out of their bonuses with performance reviews that don't make sense. The game does not usually, well, under Crystal Dynamics, meet their under Square Enix, excuse me, meet their sales expectations that were ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they just really, like, all of those reasons that they had in their mind for why it was worth it to go through all of that, looking back like 3-4 years later, they're like, why did I do this? Like, what happened? Like, what have the last years of my life been? And it gets a lot of people burnt out of working in the industry at all. Like, there's been big talents at Crystal that have left and just never come back to the industry.
Yeah, shout out to Andy. Like, he literally looks like a new person when he left Crystal Dynamics from the community manager role on Avengers and went to Capcom. He looks so happy.
I really hope I get to run into him at Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, that would be nice. Like that, I feel so happy for Andy. Like, shout out to Capcom. I'm a Capcom creator. It's a great culture over there.
It's funny. I went and started looking 5 hours ago. Jeff Grubb. Since we're talking about it, I've heard Perfect Dark shows up at Xbox Showcase, and he was quote like replying to somebody, Nate the Hate.
I know.
Yeah, Nate Drake was the one. Okay, so like to continue the timeline, oh god, I've already forgotten who brought it up, but it got brought up again. Oh no, shortly after my story, Rebecca Valentine, who I adore at IGN, posted a story about Crystal Dynamics, and the initiative, moreover, and like some of the problems that had happened earlier in Perfect Dark's development leading up to that point. And the sentiment was, it was really bad, but now it's gotten better. And that, at that point, I was still like pretty close with Crystal Dynamics sources. That didn't really gel with what I had heard. I know some of the people that were leading the project, like from a creative standpoint, and I had heard horror stories of working with them from other people. And there was like one or two anecdotes explicitly about Perfect Dark that to me don't sound like a good game make. Like, I don't know. But anyways, so I'm not like a big insider or anything, you know what I mean? Like, I have a couple people that I know.
Disagree.
But I mean, really, like, it's funny that I'm on like the trust list or whatever on like the little survey that Gaming Leaks and Rumors do, because I'm not out here talking about the Switch 2 or something, you know what I mean? Like, I cover a game, I by extension cover that studio, I get to talk to people and I report on that, and that's it. So with Avengers in the rearview mirror and me not really being like a Tomb Raider guy, I really haven't kept up with those people at all. So all I really have to go off of is what I had heard. And so it came up again recently, and the opinion that I had was like, I would be surprised if it ever saw the light of day. Like, I'd be surprised if it ever saw the light of day, because there was some miscellaneous stuff about Tomb Raider that I won't get into, but just general studio stuff. And so I was like, I don't know that it's ever going to happen. And then now suddenly, and at the time, Nate Drake, Nate the Hate, sort of co-signed that and was like, that's exactly what I've heard. Like, you're never going to see it. It's a shit show. And then a day or two after that, there was a reverse course. And now it's like, actually, it's not too bad. And they're planning on like a reveal kind of soon. And I don't know if you're even going to see gameplay or if it's just like a title screen, or I don't know, like an animated thing. I don't know.
I'll be shocked if they show gameplay.
I expected us to have seen Tomb Raider a long ass time ago. Like, I don't know. It's a tough one. They rated you a 50/50 star, which is funny because it's like, what do I report on that's like so off? Like, I don't know. Whatever.
Literally nothing. It's actually,
again, I'm not out here talking about the Switch 2, you know, like,
yeah.
I kind of stay in my lane.
Yeah,
but anyways,
the only way I can think of that would have turned this whole project so dramatically around is if they hired B-Wags, because we know how great he is at saving games.
Crystal has had, like, Crystal is, they're really a shitty place to work. Like, they've had unadvertised layoffs in the last couple years that like never got publicized. They had a major creative lead on Avengers left to do like a Web3 thing, some scam, and then he got courted back with like a cushy unlisted job made just for him, which is like a director job, right? And I don't see how that's like a positive influence. Like almost every single person that I've ever spoken to who worked on Avengers volunteered that man's name as like a destructive influence on the development of Avengers. And again, like they went out of their, like he probably got, I mean, I don't know what he got to do it, but you know, he got like this cushy director job made just, I think he's like, oh, I can't say that because then it'll spell out who it is. But
yeah. Well,
my point is like, I don't think they're a studio that's going to make many more good games. Like I don't, to say I question their leadership is an understatement. I mean, like Ron Rosenberg was the guy who just a year, I think, before he got promoted to head of studio, was the dumbass who said, "Oh, gamers are going to want to protect Lara from being raped," and that was that whole massive PR disaster around the reboot trilogy. Like, that's the sort of behavior that gets like rewarded there. Like, I just don't think they have it in them for a hit. They're really coasting on the IPs that they have touched in the last 20 years.
Yeah, that's why when I heard that the Perfect Dark stuff, I feel like my current thinking is that this feels like spin, like obviously the Embracer Group is very much invested with trying to salvage what they have, and I know there's a lot. I know Microsoft wants to have this out because it's a recognizable brand name, and this kind of feels like maybe go to the media and be like, oh, actually, you want a scoop? Actually, development on Perfect Dark is going great. Actually, we're about to show off this. So what we got right at this next showcase, you heard those? Oh, don't listen to them. They're not reliable. No, this is the real scoop. That's outdated information. You really, the real story is that development is going really well now. They turned it all around. Like we figured it out. I think that's what this is. They're going to show a little sizzle reel, get people hype, try to get people hype, and they're going to show as little raw gameplay as possible leading up to launch, if it ever gets to that point. And it's going to come out, and it's going to be ass, and people are going to be like, "What happened to Perfect Dark?" And they're gonna be like, well, I mean, game development is hard. These things happen, who knows? It's gonna be one of I see it. I see it clearly. I see the vision.
I would just like to confirm no Mad Hatter.
And I have to say, Jay, I am now, I was disappointed about the Marvel Rivals things, but you being just consistently cucked by WB over this fucking doll is just giving me life right now. I hope you never get that fucking doll.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of don't. I am kind of with you.
It's kind of more fun that you. I would be disappointed. I would actually just be sad if you got it at this point.
Yeah. I'm not gonna tweet about it until tomorrow.
I want you to wait. I want you to be in an endless loop of 72-hour cycles.
I'm gonna respond to this guy though.
This is the most interesting part of Suicide Squad right now. You not getting this doll. I want to know how long it's going to take. Wasn't the initiative this quadruple A the I don't remember hearing the quadruple A thing outside of what was it, Ubisoft? I remember I do remember the initiative when I first heard about the Perfect Dark thing, because I remember that they were just hemorrhaging employees, and that's why Crystal Dynamics had to take over, because they could not keep anyone on this project. People were just jumping ship like as fast.
It's Crystal Dynamics without the reputation. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to be there.
Yeah, it was like, oh fuck, we're out. Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, this game might be cooked already, and it did not. It reminded me of which was interesting, because it reminded me of Redfall when I was reading the story of what went behind the scenes with Redfall, and how initially Arcane Austin were I think they were trying to make a Prey. They were pitching Prey 2, and the ZeniMax came into the picture and were like, actually, we need you to make a multiplayer live service game. And essentially they were like, yeah, we don't want to do that. And they said, well, that's what you're making, so figure it out. And then they didn't even like have like a clear direction of the type of multiplayer live service slot they wanted to make. There's like, you figure it out. So they ended up, I think I read something like crazy number, like 70% of the team of the original talent on Prey fled Arcane Austin during that transition phase from ZeniMax right before they got acquired by Big Daddy Microsoft. So these usually when you start hearing kind of stuff about curse development process, employees leaving, all this stuff, there's a good chance that the game is not going to come out very well, and that's unfortunate. I have literally no faith in Perfect Dark or Tomb Raider. Have you heard anything about Tomb Raider?
Yes, I heard enough to make me think that they didn't really learn the right lessons from Avengers.
It checks out.
Yeah. There was like a recent rumor going around, and I will say, like, most of it I was not so out there as to run contradictory to what I'd heard, but there was one little nugget in there that I'm like, that's exactly what I've heard. Interesting.
Ooh.
And I don't know that it's like they're sort of interested in they want like a future for the franchise. You know what I mean? Like, they want something new. And
clearly,
I don't know that that's what fans want.
They do not.
Like, I think fans really just want more of the same old shit. And there's no problem with that. Like, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And yeah. I don't know that fans are going to love it.
I have no faith that they're going to. From my understanding, obviously Square was the publisher, Crystal Dynamics was the main developer on Avengers, but they also had Eidos Montreal working as a support studio.
They had like 3 support studios working on it. They had Crystal Northwest, which was like started during the development of Avengers. They had Eidos Montreal. Didn't they have like Eidos' satellite studio or whatever?
Yeah, they might have them too. Yeah.
Like, I thought they had some studio in Quebec.
Yeah, I know because I know they were doing a lot. I remember they were like not long after Square made that pivot away from the game in terms of budget wise. I remember they did a lot of outsourcing, particularly for the Black Panther DLC.
Oh, even before that, like even in the lead up to launch, they were outsourcing with Virtuos. I forget the name of the studio, but I remember a developer telling me that there was a studio in the UK, like in England, that was working with them. Because like there was an anecdote about how when you were crunching, like you would still be there when the UK office showed up in the morning for work.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like the whole time you were talking about the work culture at Crystal Dynamics, I was getting PTSD flashbacks to my time working in retail. I was like, oh no, I was like, this is called. It's all coming back to me. Oh no. That sounds, even though it's video games, that sounds awful.
Crunch culture kills, man. Like,
literally,
it's too much for someone. It's too much for someone, and it doesn't create the sort of environment where people want to stay in that industry. And so, young talent or whatever is always great, but I don't know.
And it's not like even the results are like really there. It's like, it's not something like, oh well, Crunch, we're definitely going to put out a great, like, no, like, like it's not.
I mean, most of like the leadership at Crystal, like they've been in the industry for a long time. You know what I mean? And Crystal has been around for a long time. They're a very historic studio. They've worked on games generations and generations old, and that's fantastic. And so many studios have died and fallen by the wayside, like over those years.
Yeah.
It should be something beautiful to have like veterans of the industry guiding fresh talent, but it seems more like the movie Midsommar, you know what I mean? Where like they sort of maintain their youth by like killing children, you know what I mean? Like, obviously it's like a metaphor, obviously.
Well,
but
I got dark.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's like
perfectly dark.
It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to dance around specific stories that I've heard because I'm trying not to out anybody, but I will just say I don't want to work there.
Yeah, even I remember High Ruler was telling that story. I mean, he was doing that piece where he was like looking into like the Glassdoor reviews of Crystal Dynamics, and he noticed that there was like this pattern. Like, it wasn't a whole big thing about the environments being terrible, but it was more so really bad management. Like, it's particularly with time and resources. And I know from experience that's a thing that can contribute to crunch when you don't have a real clear direction and you're not managing your time and resources properly.
Totally.
And then all of a sudden you have a deadline and it's like, well, fuck.
Yeah, like in Avengers, there was huge I think the term is like feature creep. Like, they had so much planned and so much that was being worked on. That was half of it was completely unrealistic, never got finished, never saw the light of day. And all those hours that went into it, like, what a waste of time to not polish up what was ultimately going to get out. You know what I mean? Which was unfinished, undone. Like, it, yeah. And again, to hear like some of those creatives are so so crucial to Crystal leadership. Like, they cannot function without them. Like, it's like, that's a studio that I just don't believe is capable of making a hit right now.
Yeah, like when I first heard about the open world Unreal Tomb Raider game, at first I laughed that they were abandoning the Foundation engine and then going to Unreal. Ended up going to Unreal anyway. They say, well, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do Unreal for Avengers. We're going to stick to Foundation. We're going to make it work. And then when it's time for Tomb Raider game, like, actually.
Well, yeah, it's a problem for them when they're hiring, because suddenly you have to train somebody on proprietary tech for months at a time to get them up to speed and actually contributing. Like, when you have a high turnaround rate, like, that's half the people's employment. You know what I mean? Like, it was way too much of a burden for them. I think I'd heard something about like there were some key holdouts that they were like, we can't switch because XYZ, and then like those kind of fell to the wayside, and it's like, oh, maybe we need to reconsider it. And so they scrapped what they had on Tomb Raider and started over.
Yeah, and I'm not looking forward to that game at all. I have no.
It'll be done. It'll be something. Like, I mean, I loved what they did on Avengers. Like, they've got great writers over there. Like, their narrative team is really strong. Like, they definitely. I mean, well, I didn't really play a lot of the Tomb Raider. I've heard like one of the Tomb Raider games, at least I've heard things about its writing that I'm like, what? I got to go into their catalog a little bit more. My exposure to them is admittedly limited.
You should do a Tomb Raider, Crystal Dynamic Tomb Raider reboot marathon of games leading up to the reveal of the Unreal 5 Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
Whatever,
maybe not.
whenever that is.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be accepted there.
Oh, definitely. They're definitely going to have you in that creator program ASAP.
I mean, it's tough sometimes. Like in the lead up to Marvel Rivals, right? I had like this real come to God moment, and I'm like, man, fuck Miller Ross. Like, I'm out of here. Like, I can't keep doing this. Like, more and more years of being like having this like antagonistic relationship with like another publisher. It's like, no, like I can talk shit about Crystal now, but let me tell you, like for 3 years, I was like, you know, cushioning the ground they walked on. Like, you know what I mean? Like putting my body on top of a puddle so that they didn't get wet, you know, like that was really the vibe. So it took a long time to get here. I just want to make that clear. But even with Rivals right now, it's like, oh God, can I do this? Like, can I keep doing this? Is this worth it? You know, it's a lot. It's a lot. I want to just be one of those, hey guys, it's your boy, like just like, you know, just read the press release and show the little footage, and you know, it's just, can I just do that? I don't like doing this.
Well, just do it. Like, I mean, you can, you know what I mean? It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's what you can live with. You know how,
right?
You know, it can, you may feel like, oh, I really wish I could get along, but it just depends on, you know, what can you tolerate for yourself. Like you may enjoy it, you know, for a little bit, but then you may come into a situation where you start feeling like you're kind of compromising your morals or integrity for the sake of getting along. And even though the path that you take right now can seem, you know, pretty tough and at times unrewarding, I think ultimately it's led you to a better place, because sure, you're not, you know, you're not BFFs with the mods that are anyone running the creator relations team on Marvel Rivals, but you're one of your rising star in the industry. You have a community of people that stand behind you. You know, you've been quoted and talked about in pretty much every major game publication, and I just kind of feel like that, you know, the sometimes the rockier the road, you know, the better the destination is once you get to the end of those obstacles.
This is just the first time in my career that I'm feeling like it's genuinely disturbing my peace. You know, like at the end of the day, this doesn't pay my bills, you know,
Right.
like this is a side thing for me, and it's for fun ultimately. Like you put a lot of time into it. It has to be. And what it really comes down to, it's just the news. Like, even if you were to not even necessarily be like a leak kind of person or whatever, but just to be in gaming news in general,
Right.
You're breaking hearts. Like, not every story is a good one. You know, not all good news, not all news is good. There's
Very
bad
good.
news. Like, you got to piss somebody off. You've got to say the wrong thing. Like, if it was all sunshine and rainbows, it wouldn't be the news. Like, it wouldn't be true. It wouldn't be real. Bad things happen. And just being the face of bad news, it sucks, man. It sucks. Like, I've genuinely thought about quitting lately.
Oh, well, we would hate if you quit, but we would also hate more if you were just depressed. Is that, you know, maybe it's a matter of you just taking a break, or maybe it's just a matter of you finally finding a game to obsess over that appreciates your contributions.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, when for Rivals specifically, there's so much, and I don't mean personal stuff, just even like news stuff. So much. There's like stuff that I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be the face of bad news. Like, you know, like, let's talk about characters, let's talk about stage, let's talk about content. Ooh, isn't this fun? Isn't this great? Look at the art. Like, you know, that's the sort of news that I want to talk about. Because I'm just so tired of the drama, man.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I know it's tough to like get the ball rolling on that, and like I'm just saying, just do it. You know, like that's kind of like the way everybody gets started. Like, I don't think you have a YouTube channel, do you?
He has one. He doesn't use
It's abandoned.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like if you just kind of go out there and just like start making maybe just some small, positive, happy, you know, look at this videos, I feel like it would do well. And you already have like a built-in audience to like jump in.
Very true.
You know, and it's just like, just kind of do it. And, you know, maybe it'll do well, maybe it won't, but like, you'll never know if you don't, you know, try.
Well,
And I think you would be good at that.
Well, that means a lot to me. Thank you. I'll tell you, I've been thinking lately about doing like a wiki. Like, I don't know, I know this is a stupid idea, but I'm like, God, I would actually be really good at like maintaining like a Marvel Rivals wiki. Cause like I'm going through the Overwatch wikis and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I have the data to populate these, you know what I mean? Like, and that's something very valuable for the whole community, you know? Like, I don't know. Is there something there? Am I just...
I mean, if it, as soon as you said that, it made me think of what Extra Life does, and it's very lucrative. They tie it to they embed their streams in there.
Oh, my view botting era. Okay.
I mean, it works. Appreciate you. Oh yeah, we definitely do have like 1,400 people on. Like,
yeah, that's what I love about the Twitter streams is it doesn't tell you CCV, it only tells you total views.
Yeah.
So like by the end of the stream, there'll be 1,000 people like, how do you have so many people? Yeah, it's always fun. I've thought about streaming a little bit on Twitter. It seems kind of cool.
Yeah, I just was like looking for a secondary place to stream besides the YouTube channel, and I decided I bounced around between Twitch and eventually I was like, let's just do Twitter, you know, because there's like no growth.
That integration's nice.
Yeah, and there's no growth potential on fucking Twitch, so I was just like, let me just.
Well, there's no growth potential on Twitter. Let me tell you, in terms of like streaming, like I've seen like a friend of mine was in huge creator drama, right? Like millions of hits, like crazy engagement bait, you know what I mean? Like just the kind of shit, like you're trending, you know, like the kind of shit a creator dreams of. And they were like streaming on Twitter during that period, and it was like a chat like every minute and a half, maybe every 2 minutes. Like, you know, it's not really maybe the spot.
All traffic isn't created equal, unfortunately. You know, there's good engagement and there's, you know, bad engagement, and it's important as a creator to like find the right one. Here's a good chance to start your new path. Have you heard anything at all positive about Suicide Squad? You're being tested by God.
I'll take this one for him. He's heard that JayShockblast still doesn't have his goddamn doll.
I mean, that is positive in my opinion.
I've heard Jay's doll is coming within 72 hours. That's good news. Let's celebrate that.
That is there we go. We found the good news. It's 72 hours.
You're fixing it right now.
JayShockblast has been told he can expect his doll.
Yeah, you know, 72 hours after I was told that last time.
Oh, that reminds me, by the way. Since, you know, I can save my soul tomorrow or whatever. The last time I was on the stream, I was having tech issues, and I ended up leaving before I could really talk about the DMCA drama with Tricks Ridiculous.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just say this. Fuck WB Games for that. That was ridiculous. Like, to take a screenshot of the leaderboards, and this guy is a soldier for your game who gets harassed for talking positively about your game every single day. like one of the only people still in that damn parade, take a screenshot of the leaderboard and you want it scrubbed. You want his account gone. You want him like dealing with lawyers because it says the name of a character on it. Doesn't show an image of them. Like, get out of here. That's like, I'm sorry, that's so inappropriate. Like, we are often in situations as creators where there's obviously a huge power imbalance. You know what I mean? Like, you have nothing and they have everything. And so if they decide that you're gonna get fucked with, you're gonna get fucked. Oh, there goes Sadot.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Ooh. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you have very little recourse in situations like that, and that's by design. Like, the copyright law in the U.S. favors the corporation, so there's really nothing you can do in most of those situations. Like right now, I want to counter notice some DMCA claims that I got, and the whole Twitter system for it is just broken and says my address is incomplete or whatever. What can you do? There's no customer support. Like, I think we've all had situations where like I think, Jay, didn't you have a situation with YouTube where it was like, team YouTube, like, fix this for me, please, you know? Like, where you're just trying to get a human on it and you can't.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to say, like, it is torture to put a creator in a situation like that, to screw with them like that. Like, what if Trix had 5 DMCAs already from other unrelated shit, and that was the thing that took his account down? Like, why would you do that? Like, here's the thing too. This is a friend. Reach out to him. Just ask him, like, hey, can you please take that down? Of course he would have done it in a heartbeat.
I agree with that completely. And that's the thing that kind of sucks, is that like, it wasn't even like something that leaked. It wasn't something that was data mined. It was literally something that you log on to the game and could see. He didn't manipulate anything.
Yeah, he's not the one. Yeah, he was not the one to do it. And it's also, we fucking know Deathstroke's in the game. Like, you tease him multiple times in the actual game.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just his name.
Just the name.
It's so ludicrous. Like, they've lost, like, that really, if you couldn't tell, that really pissed me off.
As it should have been. Trix has suffered enough. Yeah, I mean, he already got banned by Crystal Dunn.
I mean, like, if you want people to play, but like, listen, if you've got a leaker problem or whatever, and you want to draw this line in the sand with like the do this and the don't do that, like, if somebody isn't crossing that line, don't treat them like they are. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's such a slap in the face, and it tells people, don't play our game. Don't play it. Don't talk about it. Don't post screenshots of it. Don't do it, because we're going to screw with you. We're maybe going to take your account down if we don't like you. We're just going to decide one day that we don't like you and go after you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it.
Yeah. And the problem with that, I think also, is that it wasn't like, obviously I have a very close relationship with WB. I don't think it was anybody on the creator side or the PR side. I think it was just the lawyers, you know. I don't.
Well,
you know, they're very corporate.
Like, it was coming out now with the "Can We Get Some Toast" drama, actually, to tie it back around to that it was actually like their legal department that saw it or whatever. Like, it wasn't flagged to them by another part of the company, apparently. Like, they were the ones who were turned on to it. So I wonder, really, in this situation, who was the one who made that call. But regardless, the outcome is unacceptable. And every minute since then, because a lot of people raised a stink about it, like, it's not a secret that I pushed my last story because they did that, because I was pissed off. Like, it's not a secret that happened. Everybody knows that happened. So you have the option of rescinding it. Like, you can take it to Twitter, be like, hey, this was a mistake. Like, take it back. Like, we don't want that DMCA claim anymore. Take it back. Every day since then, they've had the opportunity to do that and made the choice not to. So every single day that they've had that choice, fuck you for every single one of those days. Like, it's so inappropriate, so gross, and I don't think they realize how much that can damage someone. You know what I mean?
I'll be right back. Thor has to go out.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm
going in a circle a little bit. Oh,
I'll have Thor the other Thor take Jay's place as my partner here. Yeah. Now you're spitting there because the issue is that it comes off like it makes your company look not only soulless but completely out of touch, because it feels like it has to be lawyers because they don't understand culture, and they don't understand marketing, and they don't understand how that especially because they do it so often, how it contributes to just a negative reputation and view towards the company, which negatively impacts your products. Because big thing that Jay always harps on with Helldivers in particular is the benefit of the doubt. Like if you're a company that in general is viewed as someone who's like on your customer side, is reliable, trustworthy, treats you with respect, that does buy you cachet. It buys you the benefit of the doubt. So when things do go wrong, you've got kind of this base of support that'll kind of rally around, or give you a pass, or whatever the case may be. It's more fickle in gaming, but it's definitely exists. Whereas with Warner Brothers has done the exact opposite. They've a lot of cases because their legal team, it seems, have just gone out of way to kind of drive people away and just kind of look at them sideways and not trust them. I mean, they're not quite at EA or Ubisoft levels of people just reflexively saying fuck those guys, but I feel like they're getting close.
I mean, the Lord of the Rings fan film drama, was that today or yesterday, where they took down a 15-year-old or whatever, however many years old it was, Lord of the Rings fan film, because it had the name that they just picked for the next Lord of the Rings movie. Like it feels like and again, I have to stress, it's one thing to make that decision, but because in that Lord of the Rings fan film thing, hours later rescinded the DMCA claim, and they were like, never mind, it was a mistake, because there was backlash, obviously, right?
Of course.
So when you don't make the decision to do that, that's a choice. You know what I mean? Like anybody can make a mistake, like the wrong call can be made, whatever. But like if we're going on a month since that, oh, you made your choice. Like you're cool with 100%. That. No, fuck tricks, apparently.
And it's also a pattern. Like it's not like, oh, WB is like, oh no, we just did a bullshit DMCA claim. Oh, our bad. It'll never, it happens all the time. And if you're gonna, and that's why it kills me when they rescind it, even when they rescind it, because it's like you could have avoided it in the first place. Because once you the damage is already done. Like you already have this bad reputation, and then you go out and do it, and then you only change it because of the backlash. It's like, well, now it doesn't matter that much. It's fine that you rescinded it, but now it's like the damage has already been done to your reputation again, and it's like at a certain point you would think they would kind of try to reel this in and figure out what is going on with this legal department, and why who's making these calls, and try to figure out a better culture and better protocols to make sure that when they're doing these DMCA claims, they're doing it when they should, and they're not going to set off a firestorm. How's Thor?
He's actually doing great. His new medication makes him pee more often. So they changed some meds around since he was in the hospital, and this is the first week he was on his old one and his new one, and he's weaned off of it, and now he's just on the new ones, and I feel like he's 5 years younger.
Oh,
wow.
As he starts knocking crap over.
Hey, don't you roll your eyes at Thor. You can knock whatever he wants on the floor over.
Right.
How old is he now?
He's about to be 9.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude, that's Windex, bro. What are you doing? Like,
I love Thor. we're glad he's doing
yeah,
better.
like it feels like they like, the report we got back from, I had a checkup with him this week. Like it seems like I don't like. I'm thankful we're on like bonus month number 13 with him. Um, since his heart literally stopped. And it feels like he's doing so much better, like he's got that like energy back,
Oh.
So it's very cool. But
I'm
then
so
you
happy
remember
for you.
he's a boxer, and they have like crazy dog energy, so
Yeah.
then you're like, dang, can you be old again? I'm kidding. So, but yeah, he apparently the Windex was interesting to him, and he wanted to like knock it over.
I mean, to be fair,
I respect it.
I mean, who among us hasn't knocked over something just to see?
Yeah, fair.
Some of us knock over Windex, some of us knock over banks. It is what it is. It is what it is. Speaking of robbery, what's your take on the Xbox situation, Miller? we were gamers everywhere will now never know what could have been with Tango as far as a follow up to Hi-Fi Rush, because we got another round of layoffs.
I think it's stupid as hell. I mean, everybody knows it. I think a lot of executives, that are a little further down the ladder probably thought it was ridiculous too. Like it couldn't have come at a worse time. You know what I mean? Like there's really nothing good about it. And just to have additional resources to dump into big tent poles that are going to underperform, like it's I think it's an indictment. I truly think it's an indictment on what's wrong with modern AAA gaming financing. Really, like it doesn't make sense. Even when you succeed beyond everyone's expectations, there's no bar that you can meet that keeps you from whatever the hell this is. Like it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, for those that missed it, Xbox announced recently that they were consolidating, so they forced the closure of 4 studios, and that included Tango, the award-winning studio behind Hi-Fi Rush, which just coming off multiple game award wins. Xbox's head of marketing praised the game, said it was a success in every conceivable metric. And their reward for that is getting their entire studio shut down. They also closed Arcane Austin, who of course did Dishonored, and they did Prey and Redfall. And the time was the craziest thing about it is not even just the layoffs, is that they didn't started rolling out like they just kept talking. And I remember Paul Tassi pointed this out, because like right after they announced those studio closures, they literally mentioned, I think it was Phil mentioned, that they wanted to make smaller games that are like prestigious and award winning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you mean like fucking Hi-Fi Rush?
Yeah.
First of all, I'm confused by everything like that they did there. It's very strange, especially with Tango. But like, if you think about it though, it feels like it's more of an indictment on Game Pass, because it's a single player game. I've been told there are some DLC packs you can buy, but like it's a single player game, and how many people actually bought it? You know what I mean? How many people actually paid money for it, as opposed to like a small portion of their Game Pass, purchase monthly going towards it. So I think that's something they're gonna have to figure out because, like, you know, I would think the point of launching a game on Game Pass is for it to have some kind of microtransaction to also contribute towards it.
Right.
I would think that's why other game companies put their game on Game Pass to get people to buy the other stuff. So I played the game. It was really cool. Like, don't get me wrong. But I didn't buy it, you know, and I know it just launched on PS5.
Yeah, they ported over PS5.
Yeah, did that Switch port get to happen?
They're canceling it.
That's not, but I mean, it's Switch, but I don't know,
no,
man.
But I mean,
like,
the game I think is quite suited to the Switch audience.
It's a perfect Switch game, by the way.
But like, so they had a before Hi-Fi Rush, they had a mobile game that was canceled 5 months after launch, and then they had Ghostwire Tokyo, which I don't know did that sell very well.
Okay, I remember at the time the sales were a bit of a letdown, but it's had long legs. Like it's done good since. It's built up a reputation for itself. And it's my understanding it's now definitely exceeded what they expected, but it took a while.
Yeah, I famously bought it at launch.
I bought it as well
and never opened it.
I played it and I didn't finish it, but I played it for I think at least 5 hours.
And I remember The Evil Within, like seeing it. I remember seeing that at PAX Prime in Seattle when I went, and I've seen it at PAX before. Not my type of game, but I mean, these are the games that studio put out. I mean, obviously, Hi-Fi Rush was very well received, so that's the part that's so shocking. I'm assuming it's been said they were pitching the second game.
Yeah, and that's apparently why they got shit kicked, because they were like, well, we have to consolidate, and so we're going to choose to can the studios that are pitching and keep the ones that have something in active development.
Well, on top of that, it's important to acknowledge too that this was what they got in the Activision Blizzard acquisition.
Yeah,
right.
And there was that whole drama at the time of like, oh no, this won't lead to studio closures. Like, we love their business. We plan on continuing.
Which we knew was bullshit. Which we coming. We knew it was bullshit at the time.
I mean, I don't think there's an example more brazen of what that sort of corporate consolidation really leads to. Like if you think about like, oh, the Disney Fox thing, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like a bunch of marketers, and I know that sounds callous, but like a bunch of like marketing and executives left, and the business hasn't been too changed. Like, you know what I mean? Like Hulu is still going. Like, I think to make like such a seismic excision of their business that is such a successful portion of it, it just seems so destructive for the sake of being destructive. You know, like and it really lit people on fire, I think, for that reason. Like, people were really burnt up about it.
Yeah, because it feels like not only is there like conflicting visions within the company, but it feels like this decision was mainly driven by the elephant in the room, which is to quote the Embracer Group, who had this to say for themselves after everything they did to the industry. Our goal is to maximize shareholder value. and that's kind of what it is. Like when Sarah Bond, they trotted her out there to try to
do
damage control, and that was a fucking disaster.
It was like something out of Veep.
Yeah, but someone Twitter, Jeff, he's an anime creator, but he commented on a screenshot of the presentation with Sarah that showed the graph of the yearly growth.
No, talk about shady cameraman. Like literally when she was talking about like, oh, the value or whatever, like we need to get what I forget what it was, but it was something to the effect of, you know, we need to accrue value where we can, and and then the camera pans out to the graph behind them, which shows the record profits.
Yeah, like literally, it's just like and he pointed out that's exact. Like, it doesn't matter what she says, that graph is all you need to know. Like, as soon as the line stops going up, no matter how absurdly and unsustainably high it was, it becomes a problem. You got the shareholders get itchy, and people need their fourth yacht, so they start looking for ways to cut costs. And if that means closing down a studio that just dropped a big, successful, award-winning game, fuck it. It doesn't matter, because the graph can't go down. no matter how absurdly high it's coming down from. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they thought that the COVID era profits should last forever. Like, they have no perspective. They're like, oh, this is just a new normal, so we're just going to keep acting in accordance, and we got to keep making sure that graph goes up. And as soon as it starts going down, which it did, on the end, like, even though it was still astronomically ahead of what it was before COVID, it's like, well, it's going down, so that means someone's got to get fired.
Yeah, the take I saw that definitely nailed it was like, it really comes down to publicly traded companies existing in this industry.
Yes.
It doesn't work to anyone's benefit. It's incompatible with what we want as consumers, with the lives of developers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just doesn't work. And I hope that this is a moment for people that own studios. Keep it private, man. Keep it private.
Please.
It just, I don't see it. But we live in desperate times. Like, you get that paycheck offer, that buyout offer, and you can't turn it down. Like, that's how we got here.
Maybe you should, because it's like, because it felt like they've been running Game Pass kind of like how the tech disruptors run their companies, where it's like the goal isn't necessarily profit. The goal is to just kind of have infinite expansion with a customer adoption. Like, that's what like Netflix and Uber took that approach, where it's like, we're going to lose money, but we're going to focus on getting a market share. So in the case of Netflix, the goal was just to get as much content on that platform, because they already had a winning idea. So we want to get as much content on this platform as possible. We'll happily just lose money all the way while we're building up this giant customer base and this giant catalog of content. And it kind of felt like that's kind of where Game Pass was. It's like, how many years have we hear? It's the Game Pass is the best in the game. You have all this selections of all these games, from big AAA stuff to indie titles. We got everything on Game Pass, and it gave Xbox goodwill, because it's like, oh, finally a service that's pro consumer, and then the Fire Nation came. Like, it just kind of with the shit, because they realized, oh well, there's a cap to how much Game Pass growth that we're going to get, and Xbox hit it about 2 years ago, and that kind of prompted this like spiral where they concede the console war, and it looks like they're trying to move towards third party development, but then they start closing their third party studios and start consolidating to focus on what, like, you're gonna make another Fallout game because you weren't prepared for the success of the Prime show, so you're trying to rush out a Fallout game sooner than 10 years, while Bethesda's also trying to crank out another Elder. Like, what are we doing?
Well, you would think Elder Scrolls is closer, like, by a lot.
You would think, but
because they've been working on that for a while.
Yeah, and I've heard a while still.
Yeah,
to come.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, two of the studios I think were kind of like, they're just absorbed. They weren't necessarily closed.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Arcane Austin is a newer studio, like within the last 10 years, and I think like they did Redfall and they did Prey, like mostly, and then they helped out here and there, and neither of those games did particularly well. Redfall was disastrous. obviously.
Obviously, and
I don't think that
and
one's too surprising.
it was entirely ZeniMax's fault, like all of it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not disputing that.
but
I'm just saying that, like,
for sure. But also, Prey, even though it was massively beloved and critically acclaimed, didn't make a lot of money.
No, I famously had that game on pre-order for like years back when it was like Prey 2. So
yeah. So that one didn't surprise anybody, like honestly, and I'm pretty sure Austin, because Austin originally was launched as a support studio for Leon,
right.
So I think that's kind of just they were downsized, and they're just going to kind of just go back to being that support studio. So I imagine just whoever didn't get fired is working on Marvel's Blade at this point,
right? I mean, I don't know. It's weird though, because like think back to like when PlayStation had their round of layoffs and Insomniac had to just lay off 50 people just because. Like, I feel like that's kind of what Tango is. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, well, you're trying to like cut back and everything, but why would you take it out on the studio that like is actually producing your content? I know they're not quite the same as Insomniac and everything, and I have no idea how much. Like you said that there were reports that like based on every possible metric that the game was a success.
That's the head of Xbox marketing. Yeah. So either he was lying,
right,
or they canceled or they closed the studio that just made them a hit game.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, if we're gonna take them at their word, because like again, I was just spitballing like how many people actually bought the game, you know, even just the PlayStation release. Yeah. Like, so it's I don't know, it's tough. But I think about like that thing Insomniac had to go through, where it's like there are people like, well, it's okay because it's for the greater good. But like, I don't know, I just feel like when you do something successful, you shouldn't have to like constantly be looking over your shoulders.
Yeah, and that's the sentiment that I've seen with a lot of developers, and I don't blame them. Like how can, like, at this point you have zero job security because you never know now,
right?
Like if you make a game that doesn't do well, you're going to get fired. If you make a game that does okay, you could get fired. If you make a game that's a hit, award winning, people love it, it makes money, you could also be fired. You could also be fired. If you pitch a sequel to a successful game, you can get fired. Like there's no scenario at this point in gaming where you can't get fired, unless except being executive. Like that seems to be the only secure role in gaming right now. Being an executive.
Yeah, I don't. It sucks. Like, and like that, but then people are looking at this and like, oh, well, Rocksteady is gonna like the $200 million like nonsense. Okay, well, WB is looking to come out from under Rocksteady. Why would you ever do that? Yes, Suicide Squad disaster. Okay, like it's probably never gonna recover, and it's probably gonna be done by Deathstroke, if even.
For sure.
But it's still Rocksteady, okay? With a massive track record, they should be able to survive this disaster. Like, it didn't make as much money as they projected it would hopefully make.
Which was insane. Like that's the annoying thing about the story. Like we're at this point, we're used to people just lying about Suicide Squad,
right?
But how egregiously they're getting this story wrong, it just irks me, because they're missing the opportunity to point out the obvious, which is that their expectations and their evaluations were just absolutely just out of touch with reality. Like, if you actually look at what they actually said during that earnings call, they didn't say Suicide Squad lost them $200 million. They said that the quarter that Suicide Squad, and they actually the specific percentage was that the quarter that Suicide Squad launched in counts towards their whole gaming division. That whole quarter, the gaming division made 20% less revenue than the quarter that launched Hogwarts Legacy, which, need I remind you, made over $1 billion in 3 weeks from 18 million sales.
Well,
Yeah.
the truth is, you'll never know how much these games cost, how much they actually made, even down to sales numbers. They'll never say it.
Yeah.
Because if you look back at Avengers, right, it was they had whatever the loss was. Okay, so like they're paying for the game's development essentially all throughout however many years this game takes to come out, right?
Yep.
But they're not reporting those costs every quarter. So when the game comes out is when they expect to recoup that money, right? So they take those costs and they take the money that they made and they offset them, right? But they very rarely will take 100% of that. Not to mention these are live service games. This is to take 100% of what they had spent up to that point would encompass development costs on content that hasn't come out yet.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like when I remember specifically when it was Avengers, they reported 75% of the revenue to date. I mean of the cost to date against sales to date, and that was through the end of the September, and the game came out on September 1st.
Yeah.
So it had 1 month of sales right before it's the holiday season, where it was the number 3 game that holiday. Like, so the game made a ton of money over the holidays, and that they never reported on what those numbers were, how that offset what they reported their losses from the previous quarter. It's all just a fucking game to pay as little tax as possible. Like, they will word it however they have to word it to pay as little tax as possible. That's the only goal for that.
And of course, finesse the investors during those earnings calls, because when you do those reports, they want to know, oh, did you, how much profit did you make this quarter, or what are your losses? Like, you know, they always want to do as much creative accounting as possible to make sure that when there's time for those earnings calls, or it's time for those quarterly reports, they have some good news for investors, some kind of positive spin.
Right. And so that's why moving forward, Square Enix can be like, look, like we've made this much money, we made that much money. And a lot of that was coming from Avengers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a very reductive way of reporting to take those numbers, not just at face value, but to ignore the reality behind them so brazenly.
Completely. Like they're everything we have for most part with these sales are usually estimates, or we got to go by charts, and even then we don't know, you know, usually what the cost of the stuff was. Like the assumption, for example, was that Gotham Knights was just this massive, you know, flop, but then we had that former executive who mentioned in their profile that actually Gotham Knights and Back for Blood both somehow met the sales goals. like the only thing,
like even then, where do sales goals fit into turning a profit?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like those are two different metrics.
Yeah, what exactly what it says? Like, we know they estimated that they wanted to make $200 million more from their game division, but realistically, why the fuck did they think that? Like, did they really think Suicide Squad was going to be? I think the answer is yes, but they thought that Suicide Squad would contribute to giving them as good of a quarter as Hogwarts Legacy did, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, by all accounts, their expectations for Suicide Squad were ridiculous. But it's funny too. They had the money that they had to make the game because of those expectations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if their sales expectations were realistic, Suicide Squad would have been a much more modest project.
100%. And that's why
interesting to see.
And that's why I also thought the comparison between like Arcane Austin and Rocksteady was silly. I saw that made a bunch of times, and I'm just like, well, Rocksteady is a much more successful studio. Like they have a track record of extremely financially successful games. So the idea that, I mean, Xbox has shown us, you know, never say never. Anything is possible, but it would be extremely weird for Rocksteady to get closed down, despite all the hits that they've had, over the years, just because Suicide Squad failed to match the revenue of Hogwarts Legacy in its first few months. It's crazy. Like I'm confident Suicide Squad has made far more money than people are giving it credit for.
Yeah.
It was just never going to be this massive. It just wasn't going to. It's not Helldivers. It's not Helldivers. It's not Power. It's not Power World. But it also Persona 3 Reloaded.
I'll bet it sold like 2 million copies.
Yeah.
Which it's not great. Oh boy,
Miller knows something.
No. That's very funny. Because like I've thought about the sales a lot, but it's just hearing someone actually say it out loud. I'm like, what a disaster.
Yeah, because you look at Arkham City, 12 million, I think. Yeah. Arkham Asylum, 6 million. Yeah. So it's not great. They definitely wanted it to do better.
And those were small games in terms of cost, like compared to today.
Right.
Like not even just adjusted for inflation or something. Like those were pretty modest games budgets for the time.
100%. But the only I guess silver lining there is that because it's a live service game, the amount of initial sales aren't nearly as important. Like in the sports genre, like NBA 2K, they make the majority of their money from microtransactions. So their game they usually are around like maybe 4 million units, 4 to 8 million on a really great year. They don't need to sell 20, 10 million, anything like that. They can sell 4 and still make a ton of money because they're a live service game that leans into microtransactions. But the issue with Suicide Squad is that they designed their live service game to not have a lot of microtransactions, despite the accusations that this game is just this huge cash grab, full of that. Like they as we've been talking about, they don't even update the shop.
You can tell the people that really haven't even opened the game before by them telling you that they're just in it to be greedy and make money.
Yeah, it's a cash grab.
Yes.
Like, where are they grabbing cash? You can't even give it to them if you want to.
You literally, they literally can't be bothered to add a new costume in the store every week. What cash grabs have you heard that did something? Like they're not grabbing anyone's cash because people are literally standing outside their door with cash in hand, and they're not, and they won't open it. They're like, hey, we have cash. I have cash right here. Give me Harley Quinn in Arkham's costume now, please. They're just we're closed. Sorry, we're.
Yeah, and I understand that there's a lot of people that are just really upset that it's not a Batman game, that it's not a Justice League game, that it's not like a lot of things that it's just not. But I don't know, man. I just felt like at some point, people would just either get on board and take it for what it is, or just move on with their life.
I mean, look, people are still talking about Avengers. There's a viral tweet going on right now about Marvel Rivals Spider-Man swing compared to Avengers. That game has been delisted for a year.
Shout out to Lejeune who called that immediately. He literally called that meme immediately. He was like, they're 100% going to be making this meme.
They're going to be making that meme till the day we die. You know what I mean? Frankly, Suicide Squad, because again, I stress about Avengers, it didn't do that badly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It certainly made an impression on the culture. Here we are.
Still talking about
Suicide Squad would be lucky to have that impression. I remember talking to a Suicide Squad developer shortly after launch about the backlash and everything, right? And the harassment. And my this was a cordial conversation, to be clear, and we both agreed on this. But one of the things that came up was like, I guess the real problem is when that stops. You know what I mean? Like when there's no interest, when people literally get off the pot. And I feel like that's what we're looking at now. It's just like, I don't even like, I mean, yes, obviously that was like a big executive giving a quote about it, so that makes news. But in the day-to-day beyond that, ain't nobody talking about Suicide Squad.
Like, even me, somebody that tries to find something positive to talk about by logging into the shop and saying, ooh, what new skin do we have this week? Can't even do that. Like, I feel like I have so, like, I don't know. I came on too late apparently, because I just expected they could like take care of their shit, you know? Like, the amount of ideas that are so much better than their own for their actual game is just astounding. Like, if you're gonna do character suits, okay, so far we've done the Batman style suits, which are fine. I like those. And then you've got the Gentleman Ghost. You know, like, what are we doing? Give me suits based on characters people care about. You know,
I mean, even the bad press is recycled. Like, this is this is literally the third fucking time this quote about their earnings has gone viral. Literally, 2 other executives have said pretty much the exact same thing, that the quarter with Suicide Squad was disappointing based on their projections compared to Hogwarts Legacy. They've just rephrased it in 3 different ways, and people are running with it with trying to get a new angle on it. You know, first it was like, oh, WB execs say Suicide Squad is a failure. You know, then it's like WB execs say it's a flop. Now it's WB execs say it lost $200 million. It's the same story.
Yeah.
Nothing is different in the story. All of it's the same.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, man. Sony went through hell with the whole Helldivers thing.
Thank God for Xbox.
Yeah, especially because like there's a lot of people that are starting to like realize that they did not really do 100% what they said they were doing with Helldivers.
Right. Like, they reversed the account linking mandate, but then then the countries where they don't have access to PSN the game is still delisted there. Like,
didn't Ghost of Tsushima just get delisted in those countries too?
Yeah. So like right after it got resolved, they quickly announced Ghost of Tsushima PC would require a PSN for the Legends mode, but not for the single player mode. But despite that, you still can't buy it in countries that don't have PSN access.
And that's like a fucking lot of countries.
177, like, I think.
They added 3 more countries today. They added Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia.
Oh, not Lithuania.
Oh no, we lost. We're losing the Lithuania market too.
I actually have a fan in Estonia, Ralph, and
shout out to Ralph.
Ralph was one of the first people to ever buy a JayShockblast t-shirt. Actually, you know what? This was a while ago because he got it for Christmas with Call of Duty, and now he's like a grown-ass adult making content himself, and it's weird.
Shout out to Ralph. We love Ralph.
Ralph. We are Ralph stands now.
Here we go.
I will say, I remember when I was a kid and Vanilla Ninja was competing in Eurovision for Estonia, I think. I love Vanilla Ninja. Estonia is great. Go Estonia.
Shout out to Estonia. I mean, I think we might be onto something. Like, we gotta.
Here he is. Here he is.
Yeah, wow. That's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Wow.
It looks like he has a sticker back here too. He must have had to print that out.
God.
I don't think I had a sticker.
Jesus.
But he's making custom J merch.
Yeah, but
Jesus, you're an old man.
But I do follow him on Instagram, and he's doing really well. Like, he does it in whatever, I don't remember which language they speak in Estonia.
Estonian?
I think they have their own. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, it's Estonian.
For some reason I thought of Hey Arnold. What was no Doug.
Helga?
No, Doug. Not Hey Arnold.
Oh.
Doug. What was Fentruck? Fentruck. Fentruck from Yakistonia, Yakis or whatever.
Wow.
shout out to Doug. One of the OG cartoons. I don't sleep on these countries, you know.
Yeah.
The Estonia market.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I am shocked that like there are actual multiple countries in Europe that like can't play the game.
Yeah.
Like they don't have PlayStation. And it's weird because I know Ralph has a PlayStation. I know he plays on PlayStation.
Yeah.
No, the truth is they just break TOS and make accounts in other European countries.
Sure, I have a Japanese PlayStation account. Not hard to do.
No, I mean that's what they do. Like they don't have any local distributors, so the stores that sell them, like you can't get games at like major retailers. Like like mom and pop stores will import them from other countries and sell them at a markup. Like there's a couple countries in Asia that frequently aren't part of that kind of thing that I've spoken to people and how they interact with gaming and stuff. And yeah, they import or in the case of now this like digital future, they just like buy codes online. You ever go to like a code buying store and they always have like, you know, like US PSN currency cards and stuff like that, right? Yeah,
I've done that.
People to import and stuff like that.
Oh, I've done that. That's how I got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I got like Japanese Nintendo Switch currency, bought the Japanese version because it let me play the game like 12 hours sooner.
Yeah, that's basically what they have to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
it's wild.
If anybody screws with them, like if they're ever in a situation where they have to deal with support, like that kind of thing, they have very little lifeline. Like there's a lot of people getting screwed from TOS matters in situations like that. And so it's not a good time, especially I'd say on the PC side is the worst for that because Steam used to be really good about region hopping.
Yeah.
And a couple years ago when Japanese games really started getting a push on PC, some of those publishers raised a huge stink about it. And yeah, not so much anymore. Like there's a couple Super Robot Wars games on PC that are only on sale in Hong Kong and Vietnam and like a couple countries in East and Southeast Asia. And you can't, like, I just can't get them.
Is that a high? What's high?
Somebody published it. Oh. I didn't even have to do it. Somebody else did. Can't blame me for this.
Is that a multiverses? Can you blow that up? I can't see it.
Oh,
it's the creator program.
It's in the group chat.
Do it.
Oh, let me see.
2.5 thousand. Wait, it's A Siegel that did it. Thank you.
Do we got bad? Do we got bad multiverses news? I was looking forward to multiverses.
Oh, that was not multiverses.
Oh, just Marvel Rivals. Yeah. I recognize that.
It's interesting because he states multiple. Oh, hold on.
You got Jay. You can't have this conversation.
Jay,
can you read the 1, 2, 3?
I'll read.
No.
Fourth
Jay,
line.
No. Jay, you can't. Literally in that picture, you can't engage in the discussion, regardless whether or not you're the one that states it.
Yeah, Jay, take a bathroom break. The tweet says, extremely disappointed in Marvel Rivals. Multiple creators asked for key codes to gain access to the playtest and are asked to sign a contract. The contract signs away your right to negatively review the game. Many streamers have signed without reading just to play. Insanity. And here they have a segment of the agreement, section 2.1, non-disparagement. The content creator agrees to not make any public statements or engage in discussions that are detrimental to the reputation of the game. This includes, but is not limited to, A, making disparaging or satirical comments about any game-related material, such as game features, characters, or music. So don't be a smartass if something isn't working properly. B, engaging in malicious comparisons with competitors, so no saying it's an Overwatch clone, for example, or belittling the gameplay or differences of Marvel Rivals, or providing subjective negative reviews of the game. So you cannot effectively give a review of the game that is not positive if you do not sign this. If you sign this agreement, that is, and I'm actually glad that they didn't share the rest of this agreement because it's way worse than that.
There's even worse than that.
Way worse.
I talked about this on stream yesterday a little bit. Like there's one. Okay, 2.6 is the worst. You would agree with that, right? Oh no, you can't. Well, can you say?
I didn't sign it. So what happened was I got the contract. We all got the contract. I read it. This is not my first rodeo. I've done a lot of deals or whatever have you with brands. I got the contract. I read it and was like, yeah, stay backstage, Jay. I got the contract. I read it and I was like, is this a fucking joke? What? I'm not signing this shit. So, but I was like, there has to be some kind of mix up. So I was like, okay, yeah, so I asked for clarification. I picked out some specific sections. I was like, hey, can we, get this reviewed? I'm not comfortable with this or this section. And they said, boom, we'll get back to you. And then, I didn't go into too many specifics. I just mentioned that, yeah, I saw it, like, because people finally started getting the contracts, and I was like, yeah, I didn't sign it. I'm not really comfortable with some of the stuff. So, and then a bunch of creators started, reaching out and raising kind of a fuss about it once they started kind of going through it. And I don't blame them, because it's pretty egregious. Like I was pushing for different. I literally went through and changed the languages and amended some stuff and sent it in to approval, but we never got it worked out. But I was wondering if someone would eventually leak that one to the public. I thought Miller would be the one to drop it.
I swear to God, I wrote a whole thread about it, like going over different things, because multiple people in the program reached out to me with that contract. Multiple people did. I just want to make that clear. And like I swear on my life, I've had conversations with at least 11 people about that contract. Okay. It is ridiculous.
Not me.
Yeah. That's true. Not Jay. Not Jay.
Not Jay. Jay is a happy Marvel Rivals content creator. He loves the game.
All I knew is that Jay had gotten the code, so I knew that Jay had signed it. That's it.
Yep. That's how so Jay was all on board. He loves Marvel Rivals. He has nothing negative at all to say about his experience. It was absolutely fantastic. The only problems were just on his own inferior ability to play and be good at PvP games.
Shut the fuck up.
But otherwise, the game was flawless. It was all purely skill issue, and he was having some issues with his stream. But the game itself, he absolutely loved it. He has no problems whatsoever with Marvel Rivals and knows nothing about such slander. And he's never heard of Overwatch.
But honestly, I backed off talking about it, because I'm like, it feels like a line in the sand. Like, it feels like
you can't kind of that's definitely a story where if you publish, you couldn't just say, oh, I'm just trying to, because right now you're leaking, you're sure, but you're also like doing it with the intention of showing people how much you love the game.
Like, honest to God, I'm hoping to recover this relationship one day.
Yeah.
Like,
so yeah,
there's going to be 100 people that hear that and laugh But like,
but
it's
but I know
true.
you, and that's why. And I've been following your content, so I know it's true. That's like your intention. Like I know stuff that we won't get into here, but
Yep.
I know how much you have been fighting for this game behind the scenes and how much you care. So yeah, if you had published this, that would have been a definite. This is definitively
it's game over.
fuck you. Like it's like there's no coming back from this.
Because it's beyond just like in their own words, like overexcitement for the news or whatever, right? Like that's just malicious.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's just trying to draw blood. And that's not what I want. Like, I don't want the game's reputation to suffer.
Right.
But I'll tell you,
it's like a good game. It looks like a great game.
Yeah, I'm loving it. But I'll tell you, the number one thing that I can do to make the games I'm working for the game's how do I word this? I don't want the game's reputation to suffer, and I'm sure neither do they. Exactly. And the best way that they can accomplish it is by not writing a contract like that.
That is true.
Like it's just a simple truth. Like it's not a good contract. I think whoever approved that going out should have their leadership questioned. Like that's going to get you guys into trouble way more than just this. Like that person's leadership is going to cause you some problems.
Like, because to give a little inside baseball, it's not uncommon for content creators to sign some sort of agreements when they're working with these brands to promote these games. Now, the unusual thing is that usually with a closed alpha, it's actually closed. Like it's literally in the name. So you'll have to sign an NDA promising not to share any footage or disclose anything like that. But for this particular closed alpha, they had no NDA at all, and actually actively encourage and incentivize content creators to stream it. And the incentive there was, if you stream it, the more people who watch will give you keys to give out to your community. But usually there's only paperwork, there's only like agreements signed for like a sponsor deal. Like I'm sure when Dr. Lupo and Shroud did their whole sponsored Suicide Squad post, they had to sign some kind of agreement. And money was then money exchange.
Yeah, they probably made like $50,000 a piece.
Yeah, something like that. So naturally there's going to be some stipulations or whatever have you. They don't want you to necessarily lie, but they don't want you to just go on there and say, "Oh, fuck this game," just use ass while because they're literally paying you money to come to essentially play the game, sure, live, but you're being paid to promote the game.
It's a commercial. You don't jump on the commercial and talk shit. Like that's not the point of the commercial.
It's an interactive
That's
commercial.
why you have to put ad on it. You know what I mean? Because there's an expectation that you're going to have a positive impression no matter what happens.
Exactly. And now there are even more overt things like, I've had these things where a company will approach me and say, "Hey, I have a game that I want to promote, and then we'll come to an agreement and they'll pay me to hit on certain talking points because it's a commercial. It's product placement. They want to advertise their product. So there will be stipulations. Like obviously, if you're doing a literal commercial where they're paying you to promote their game or whatever, they don't want you to shit talk it. They want you to hit on certain things, and that's perfectly natural. This, you're streaming and you're doing an alpha for a game. It's an early build. The whole goal is to play it, to figure out what's wrong with it, and then report back, to enjoy it. So it was unusual to begin with for this deal. Almost.
Almost.
It was unusual to begin with, but especially for creator programs, because usually when you try to get into a creator program, I'm in several right now, and usually what they'll to just apply, you'll be like, "Oh, you agree to basically not be an asshole," and then they'll review your application, and then if they approve, they check you out, then they let you in, and that's the end of it, But to have this insanely sheer contract just because you're streaming an alpha and you're not being paid. You're getting your payment is in keys that you can't use, that you're just giving to other people. like it's not like you're getting a key to the game and they're saying, hey, we're going to give you a key, play it, promote it like that. They're saying, hey, we're going to incentivize you by giving you keys to give to other people to play it. So it's not even like a similar thing. Like you're not getting actually paid. So it was weird to begin with, but the language just, made it way over the top.
My interpretation was that this is for moving forward, though. So this is just for the program in general.
So the interesting thing is that this was for this specific alpha. Like it was because it was amended. Like you got the shitty version. It was later amended to clarify exactly what this was for, and it was supposed to be specifically for the period of the start date of the alpha to the end date of the alpha. And the intention was these are the guidelines that you follow while you're streaming Marvel Rivals as part of this promotional closed alpha campaign, where we're going to reward you with keys as an incentive for drawing viewers. That's essentially was the idea behind it. And the original contract, in my opinion, didn't really reflect that. That's why other creators were uncomfortable and wanted, some amendments made. But, Jay, because how much he loves Marvel Rivals and has absolutely no beefs with the game whatsoever, was like, yeah, I'll sign it.
Yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say. I wasn't
bad to say,
because here's the thing, like
it's a great game.
The way that I looked at it, and the reason why, because I had another creator, very big creator, message me that, like, I did feel like he was like lecturing me a little, and I don't think he meant to, and I think he realized that. But like, he was asking me questions about it, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I just signed it. It's like you're either gonna do it or you're not. So I'm like, nothing in there worried me too much. I don't think that it's gonna like affect me at all. But I get it, but I'm not typically, if I get something and I don't like it, I'm just not gonna say anything,
And you're just gonna not play it.
I'm just gonna not play it. I'm just gonna move on to something else. Yeah. If I bought it, it's different when I buy it. Like, but if I was provided a code for a game and I play, I'm like, it's not for me. I'll tweet and say, hey, this game, or like Stellar Blade. There's an example, right?
Yeah.
Like I kind of wanted to play it. I played the beta, the demo, and I was like, this game's fine. It's just not for me. Like, and I just moved on,
Right.
So that's the way I look at things, and that's why I wasn't as concerned, because I know hero shooters. It's exactly what I expected,
Mm-hmm.
It is a little annoying to not be able to just make the very obvious comparisons, you know what I mean? But
especially since they're literally, like, I literally saw some of the top streams on both YouTube and Twitch is literally Overwatch player plays Marvel Rivals, or Overwatch player tries Marvel Rivals, whatever. Like, that's literally what is being used as a selling point to drive traffic to Marvel Rivals streams. So it was weird, but I understand the concern was that people would just be like, "Oh, it's just a shitty version of this," and just in general, yeah. When you have content creators representing your product, you would prefer that, since it's a promotional relationship, you're in a creator program, that they have a positive spin on your product. That's the natural assumption. Ideally you'll have you'll be studios that will encourage you to be constructive, just not toxic about it. But there are some who prefer you to just shut the fuck up and smile.
The thing that really strikes me about it is like, just to tie this back around to the beginning of the conversation, G Matrix Games, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Cloak and Dagger, here's Hawkeye. You're banned from the game for 10 years. And also he got banned from the Discord, right?
Right.
Like me, like here's the characters that they're working on. Like my name is word filtered in their Discord. I'm banned from the Discord. There's a developer who talked about like eliminating me or something. It's like there's like really weird like it's a lot, it's a huge amount of hostility, right? And so this is now happening, right? There's like boom, like a part of their confidential contract, blowing them up with the explicit intention of causing reputational damage to that game. Do you think he's going to be banned from the game? Do you think he's going to be banned from the Discord?
I would assume so.
Well, we'll have to see, because I got to tell you, which one does more reputational damage than the other? I'd have to say him, frankly.
I would definitely say it would be hard to argue that that did not.
Yeah, so keep that energy up. You better ban him from the game for 10 years. That's all I have to say about that. I know it's salty, but it's like.
But I mean, obviously, we prefer people weren't banned for 10 years. But Jay, can you do me a favor? Can you check the Marvel Rivals Discord in the content creator section? Do you see the CC chat?
Yeah.
It's still there under CC Showcase.
Yeah, I have showcase, announcement, milestones, chat.
Oh, did they just remove your role in real time?
I have CC Showcase, Strategist, Duelist, and Vanguard.
Are you offline?
Am I offline? Yeah, I'm idle.
I don't see you in the purple names.
I just turned on online. I think I'm removed from the content creator chat.
When was the last time you typed anything?
Earlier, I think I checked in earlier in the day. It did not look like this. So yeah, that's why I wanted you to check and make sure it hadn't been removed.
Oh, boy. Well, then, because they're watching, you better go ban what's his name for 10 years. I want to see it. I want to see the screenshot.
10-year ban would be nuts. He published part of the contract publicly.
It says all over it, confidential.
With the intention of shitting all over the game for this particular thing.
Literally added you. Wow.
Hey, guess what?
Chicken butt?
They clearly just did it to me.
Oh.
In real time.
Jay's banned in real time.
I removed myself from this.
He literally removed himself from the conversation.
Did they just shut down the whole thing? I don't understand.
That's why I was asking, because I see the creator quarter, so I was like, but I don't see any of the. I was checking. Did they shut the whole thing down, or did they just remove us from it? Because we're not banned from the Discord.
Yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I was. Hold on. How do you let me see if I can find my name.
I can access the creator quarter.
I've literally broken no rules. I've said nothing but positive things. I don't understand.
I mean, maybe it's just your face.
Maybe I don't know. Like I don't know.
Hold up. I'm trying to check. I'm trying to find I'm online, so I'm trying to look for my name.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
Oh yeah, you got to scroll like crazy for that.
Yeah, I got to do some crazy scrolling.
Oh yeah, my name is White now.
Oh, you're
No
gone.
roles. Yeah.
No roles. You're just gone.
No contact. So hi, I guess you're watching our little podcast.
I got a message from a certain someone but then it looks like it was quickly deleted because I don't see it anymore. But I mean, that was right before I saw that that the creator chat was no longer visible for me. Yep. So I guess just the fact that it was put on screen, I think, is what was just acknowledging the tweet was enough.
I literally removed myself from all that conversation.
To be fair, you did share.
They don't know that.
It was shared in your presence, so I think that's what it was.
I think they just don't like you or me, and
I mean
with me.
I mean, obviously we know they hate Miller. I mean, he's literally banned.
I mean, how could you not?
Yeah,
he's literally banned.
I don't know, man. Like I was literally just praising, like saying why I was okay with it because I didn't think any of it would affect me. I've been nothing but positive about the game. My only complaints was like my own hardware giving me issues. So
yeah, but Jay, from their perspective, you're on a podcast with Miller Ross, so you're basically Hitler.
For like the 20th time.
Yeah, but you can't associate with Voldemort. Like that's not that's what you can't do.
This is not going to end well for them.
That's the thing that gets me. Is it's like there's this sense of like making it like digging. It's like dig up, stupid. You know what I mean? Like it keeps getting worse.
Let me clarify, okay? When I say it's not going to end well for them, it's not because of anything I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it alone. And hopefully it's a misunderstanding and we can get it sorted out. But like they want to be all cloak. I mean this like they want to be all cloak and dagger.
Yeah, not to be confused with the Marvel characters.
I'm just saying like they want to be all cloak and dagger about this.
Who will be coming to Marvel Rivals, of course.
They want to be all cloak and dagger about it. But like I don't know, that's people hate that shit, and I didn't post it. I just like I can't acknowledge that this happened. Like, come on.
Nope. I don't know if it's acknowledging that it happened or the fact that Miller's here.
I don't know.
Maybe a combination of both. I feel like it's more to do with Miller.
Maybe. And if it is, then I like just know Miller that I'm Team Miller.
I'm sorry.
No. You have nothing to say. Like
thanks, Miller.
We both wanted you to be here. If anything, blame Foms. He's the one that had the idea.
I didn't want you to get in trouble either, which is why I was saying like leave the call. You know what I mean? Like
Yep. I thought I was doing the right thing, removing myself from the situation. I mean, trying to come back. Like this is like lame. I've been doing this for almost 14 years. Okay. I've been in many creator programs. I've covered many Marvel games. A certain somebody high up the food chain follows me on Twitter. I've met him a few times. You know, like I've always been professional. I thought I was being professional now, and I've said nothing but like good things about the game since I played it because it's great. I love it. I honestly think it's great. And I just can't believe that like it was that's childish. Like nobody said anything to me like come on. What are we doing here? It's unprofessional. You know,
it is funny though.
I guess.
In real time.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Holy.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's a very hostile environment.
I didn't like. I don't know, man. This is a little wild.
I mean, this is why you turn to the Aftershow Podcast. You never know what's going to happen. A part of me thought that something like this would blow up once I kind of got a idea of kind of what's going on behind the scenes, and I'm like, because I mentioned something like I said, I really hope the game itself is good, because the stuff behind the scenes is troubling. And I mean, it's coming true. Jay, the constant professional JayShockblast, always respectful of the devs and everything like that. Even if he doesn't like a game, he'll be.
And Jay's like building bridges.
Yeah.
You know, I've always thought that Jay was the best among us, and certainly the most accepted for that reason. You know what I mean?
I know how to play the game, you know? Like I try to do everything as professionally as I can. I know that like, yeah, sometimes I could be a hothead, but like that's just because people suck and you have to deal with them.
This is true.
You know, but like other than that, like I carry everything professionally. I feel like I've tried to give both of you, for example, advice at times when you're like struggling, not really struggling, but when you're going through it,
struggling, yeah,
and like have questioning yourself maybe about like working with people and whatnot. And I feel like everybody I've ever worked with holds me in high regard because like I care. I try to like do what I'm supposed to do, and like uphold my end of the bargain. I didn't say a single thing bad. I don't understand.
You still haven't.
Still.
Even after this happened. Well, I said this is wildly unprofessional. I will stand on that. Like I am shocked that like that they would like just do this. Like it's whatever. I don't need that. Like whatever.
Yeah, whatever. We've got other games to play. JayShockblast.
No, I'm still not gonna say anything bad. I like the game a lot. Like I'm gonna play it, but
I'm right there with you.
I don't understand what they're gaining here. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not important.
They're creating an army of people who like the game despite all odds.
I mean, like it's a true underdog story. They're going for it.
Yeah.
I mean, how is an interesting experiment. Can you make a game that's fun enough to overcome people who fucking hate your guts? Like that's crazy. It's a good, and that's why I think it's a good thing that the game, from my experience, like I've only heard like a couple negative things about the game from like a gameplay perspective from people who are playing it. For the most part, everyone seems to be having a lot of fun with it. I was surprised. Like usually with any multiplayer game, especially in the alpha phase, there's going to be a lot of crashing, issues with matchmaking and everything like that. But from what I can tell, the only issue people had was with like trying to stream the game and play it at the same time, because if their stream quality would have issues. But otherwise, they said the game itself runs really well. They're having fun with it. It's just all the stuff behind the scenes that was kind of an issue, and now people are kind of it's coming to light.
It's just like we're talking about huge influencers, you know what I mean? Like iFireMonkey with like 2 million or whatever. Like I'm not saying we're huge or anything, but like G Matrix Games and I just don't understand the desire even to like burn that bridge so effortlessly. Like I don't know how that I don't know how it gets better from here. You know what I mean? I don't understand how like we wake up tomorrow and it's like, I'm glad we made that decision. Like now the drama is gone. Now we're in a better spot. Like it seems like it just puts us in a consistently worse spot as a community. Like,
yeah, this is even in that, like, I'm pretty, it's starting to like sink in, and I'm kind of bothered right now. Like this is actually like,
I mean, yeah, it's fucked.
I told you too, like in the last month and a half, like I have cried over this fucking game. Like some of the shit that's gone on behind the scenes that I haven't talked about, like it's really, well, I was talking earlier about quitting. Like it's brought me so down because it's like, it's very nasty and cold-hearted and disappointing and sad and crushing.
Yeah. All very accurate. And it's like unfortunate because the only thing that you would want to be talking about at this time is the game itself. Like it was entirely avoidable controversy.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing. Like Savage mentioned, it's not even people that are running the game. Like this seems to be like, this is so petty. This is obviously like on like an individual basis, certain people in certain positions that are kind of unilaterally taking action, because I can tell there's like in terms of the creator relation stuff, it's really not that organized, and there's a lot of like really arbitrary stuff going on, like the whole like even simple stuff like the dev stream. Like pretty much every company that promotes games does some kind of dev stream or dev showcase, and they not only expect but they encourage people to co-stream it. So the fact that you would say, oh, you can share and make content about this dev stream, but you have to wait until we're done streaming it in our Discord before you do it. And if you don't, you're banned. Like, that's stupid. Like, like it doesn't matter. It's a dev stream. Your goal is to inform potential customers about your video game.
Yeah, like I've never there's definitely a clear solid line between there's definitely a solid line between like, please don't restream this, and if you restream this, we're gonna ban you. You know what I mean? Like I've heard the former. I've never heard the latter. Like it's disappointing, whatever, don't work with them, sure, but like to be like, get out, like is like, what? Like that creates such a hostile environment around you, and it burns people, and it puts people in situations where then they're hostile, and then they want to talk shit, and they want to go out there. Like, it doesn't benefit you. It doesn't make it better. Like, I don't understand the desire to do that. It's so short-sighted.
Yeah, and now they're gonna have people like me that were like genuinely like
a force for good.
Yeah, man, like that I figured out how to change your player screen hero, like because it wasn't really explained, and there's just this little icon. 58K views on that tweet, like I don't know, like people ask me how it is. I'm like, oh, I like it, I enjoy it, like.
And now you got this hanging over your head because it's like,
yeah, I'm pretty bothered right now. It is sinking in, like, like this is a game that I don't trust them now. Like, like how are you going to like you're going out of your way to create like an issue when we just had you on to ask you some questions because you're our friend, and like we're like what, almost at like 3 hours on the show, if not already over 3 hours. Yeah, we're over 3 hours on the show. We talked about that game for like maybe 8% of it, like I don't know, man. Like this is wildly unprofessional. I've never I mean, honestly, the only other time I've ever dealt with something like this was BWAGs. And and when somebody like literally verbally assaulted another creator on a creator Discord, and I removed myself. I feel like I don't know. I don't know why they're watching the Aftershow podcast,
I mean, they wanted to get I mean, they probably saw Miller's name, was like, oh fuck.
Somebody
probably just saw it on my Twitter.
No, somebody probably ratted it.
Somebody
no, they are pretty on my shit. Like,
no, they're on Miller. They're on Miller.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to brag or anything, but it's like they're definitely like they got notifications on.
I mean, if they went so far as to filter the man's name, it's not hard to imagine that they would they'd be tapped in on the podcast, like that he's on talking about Marvel Rivals, like making sure.
It's just with situations like these over and over now, I just think like, what does a month from now look like? Like, how does this get better? Like, I don't.
Even now, I'm still trying to like honor what I agreed to. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Believe me, through the letter. I know exactly what you mean.
I mean, did they? I mean, technically, I guess if they booted you from they booted you from the program, so they deem that you're in breach of the agreement, so that the agreement is now done.
I don't know. They haven't told me anything, and I don't trust them now, so I'm not gonna dig further. But I will say that like a lot of people said, "Hey, what's up?" This is and the worst thing I think for them is that getting out is what that was,
and it was also a pretty brutal thing to part of the contract to share, because there were much worse parts they could have shared, but they shared the part where kind of it can hit the trust of the game, because now when they see content creators streaming Marvel Rivals, they're going to be thinking, oh, do they really like this?
Yeah, but like that, honestly, that's boilerplate to me. Like I mean, I know that it was a little stingier, but like for the most part, like non-disparagement clauses are not like,
but that's the thing,
abnormal.
The reason why they shared that is because the average gamer isn't used to seeing that.
And it's conspiratorial. It contributes to the sense of, oh, this whole system is rigged. Like they're just getting paid. How many of us, for Christ's sake, we've joked today about being shills.
Yeah, all the
time. Like that's the common rhetoric. It's like, oh, they're just getting paid.
Yeah, like, but then there are people like, oh no, this, because you're a streamer, you're in your bedroom, you're talking, no, this, you're just playing the game because, and then they see that contract and it's like, wait a minute.
I missed the part of the contract where I'm not allowed to talk to Miller Ross.
They should have put that part in.
Yeah, they forgot to include that part among several other.
I'm not allowed to talk to Miller Ross about Crystal Dynamics.
I'm about to like try to compete in the tournament, like that Dawn of Legends tournament, and one of the rules is obviously, it's pretty common, but it's like, that the hosts of the tournament can arbitrarily add rules as they see fit, like, and they have it in their sole discretion. And all I could joke around is like, they're going to put in a no Millers rule. Like, yeah, like I'm doing this for nothing.
I mean, you might not be wrong. You joke.
Like, here's the bottom line. Like I have to go back to like before Jay and Sadot got removed, because this just proves it even further. Like, are you gonna ban that guy for 10 years? Like, what are you doing to him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we see what you're doing to everybody else. Like, it's very personal. It feels very personal, don't you think?
Oh, it's obviously personal. like they filtered your name out of the Discord.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't get more personal than the first name.
You can't type any variation of Miller in that Discord chat without it being filtered.
Like look, like, I don't. The worst thing that I can say is just like, I'm not a fan of the behavior, and I think they've created a hostile environment. And I love the game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still very much like, I want to get people excited about the game, like, and I intend to keep going. And it's like, what an odd choice of public enemy number one, especially when my only criticism is a response. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, for us to have a healthy relationship, well, then I have nothing to say. Like, yeah. I don't like, like, it's like, I feel like in their shoes to go that far, it's creating something worse than the opposite. Because if I'm not stopping data mining, like, what I'm doing is legal. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm not posting images and stuff. So that's why Twitter's not taking action against the DMCAs that they keep sending them for text only posts. Like, they're just statements of fact. I'm going to keep going. So it's like, I'm happy to take stuff down. I'm happy to have conversations with them. Like, that door is always open for me. So it's like, to shut that door seems counterproductive. Like, it doesn't stop me from doing it, but it stops us from having a relationship. It stops it just cuts off avenues of positivity. I don't see the point.
Ooh, thank you. Well, I safe to say I'm definitely not going to be investing in a PC to try to play this game.
I just want to I just want it to be known, since they might be watching. Like, let's just talk, man. Like just sit down and have a conversation. We're adults. There's nothing we can't work out. Like, I'm not the boogeyman. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna hurt you. I mean, God knows I'm not gonna spread screenshots or something. I think I've made that clear already. So, like, just have a conversation. Like, it doesn't have to be like this. Just let's make the future of this game better instead of worse.
I mean, I feel like the damage is done now. Like, it's
not for me.
It's fucking over.
I would like this all to improve. I would like everything that happened today to improve, our relationship to recover. I mean, amongst all three of us, there's no reason it can't. It's a good game. Like,
yeah, I feel like this isn't. Well, I would hope it's not like a opera show or anything. This very much feels like there's not a tremendous amount of oversight here, and there's a lot of like flying by the seat of their pants going on, and it's just a really weird combination of people that are overseeing the Discord and the creator relations stuff, because this is a amateur hour. Like, this is not good. This is not good. What established company is supposed to be doing.
Like, it's really not just me. Like, there's a Marvel Games employee in the Discord that's joked about eliminating me. Like, it's not as if I'm out here running my mouth or something. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's got dirty hands. You know, like, don't look at me. Like, let's just have a conversation and sort it out. I'm absolutely big enough to do that. Let's do it.
I just asked for clarification from the person that I got my codes from.
Yeah, right? Like, let's
just Is your contract formally considered breached? And are you, since they seem to have removed your creator role from...
Well, that would be yes.
Well, yeah, obviously the answer is yes, but speaking of, there's High Ruler. This is all your fault, High Ruler.
Yeah.
I hope you can never sleep, High Ruler, because of what you've done to JayShockblast. How dare it's your fault. Jay is now no longer a part of the Marvel Rivals creator program. You had to quote tweet that.
No, it's not his fault.
I mean, technically, we don't actually know. At one point in the show, they removed it.
Oh, I know exactly what point.
Yeah,
because
they removed you right after. I don't know when they removed me, but we know that when they removed you, because I literally asked you to check, and you were still a part of it until seconds later.
That was serendipitous. Like honestly, you better save that clip.
That's a crazy clip. Oh, that's definitely getting clipped and shared. Holy.
No, I'm still not a hater though. That's the thing. Like I love the game, man. I'm actually like whatever.
That's what I think is sad about it too, is that like they fuck with people who love it so much that they're not going to talk shit about it. So it's like it doesn't create the problem that it could.
I'm gonna talk shit.
Well, I'm not. Luckily, I didn't sign it, so I can be privy to this.
I ain't signed shit, but I'm a big on the honesty thing. I was never going to be like, oh fuck this, because I don't like the bad faith stuff either. But at the same time, I don't like when media or content creators like glaze something that they don't actually like because they got to protect the brand or anything like that. I firmly believe that the best way to improve a game is to be honest about it, like flaws and all, like call out the good stuff, call out the bad stuff.
They removed La June too on stream.
What?
Yeah.
They removed. Wait, are they nuking the program, or are they just nuking Are they nuking the entire program, or are they just?
Why wouldn't they just delete the chat if they were going to do that?
Yeah, are they
removing people one by one?
Yeah, are they? Yeah, because that's why I first thought, like, did they just delete the creator chat, or are they because they don't know who leaked it, or are they just going one by one for anyone associated with Miller? It could be either one. Either just tracking down everyone who knows Miller.
Oh my god,
that's in the program.
It's gonna be half gone.
Or they're getting rid of the entire thing and are just removing people one by one for some reason. I feel like
they nuke the entire creator program, that is seismic.
Yeah, I feel like because then I know Avengers were flirting with the idea for a while now because of the leaks.
Yeah, but that lasted years, not days.
Yeah. I mean, Marvel Rivals, they're obviously built different. Like, holy, Lejeune, tell somebody to get Lejeune in the chat. Or
he's streaming right now.
He's streaming.
Oh my god!
But he put it in the group chat.
He put in the. Let me pull up the group. Like they actually removed. Now we know it's like something else because he literally didn't do shit.
No, but we were gonna compete together. He's on my team.
This is about Miller. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. They're trying to get rid of everyone. They knew Miller was going to get in the tournament.
Yeah, we were playing yesterday. I was literally going to log off and go straight to him and play.
I'm just going to drop the link in the group chat.
Yes, if you want to support the podcast and all of our troublemaking endeavors, you like what you heard tonight, we're the Aftershow Podcast on YouTube. If you want to subscribe, like, share, that's very much appreciated. Definitely share the clip of Jay finding out he's been banned live seconds after I asked him about it.
Somebody's gonna share that Simpsons gif, where like Bart's like slow motioning the like video of Ralph and Lisa.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely share that, like, share, support. If if you want to throw the channel a little cash, you can join, become a backstage pass member. But yeah, like, share, support the podcast, help it grow, so that we can continue to trigger the gaming industry by having conversations where we say nice things about a game. Miller excommunicado is crazy.
Oh my god, it's contagious.
They literally John Wick Miller. They said everyone who knows Miller is now a target.
That's crazy.
I am currently listening to Lejeune listen to us.
Hey, Lejeun's chat, what's up?
Shout out to the Lejeunes.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe.
Use that Prime sub.
Use that. If you have an Amazon Prime account, Prime sub to
he's back.
Support the June bugs over there.
Wait, they like manually
false alarm.
They put him back.
I'm not back.
Well, don't even check Sadot.
Oh, I'm not. I know. I know we're not back.
Oh my god.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that creator chat disappear, I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
Rip. Yeah, it ain't.
Lejeune, if you're listening, stop listening to us because Miller is here, and I don't want you to get in trouble.
Every second you listen, another year gets added to your ban.
Yes, please, for the sake of your future as a Marvel Rivals content creator, do not listen to this podcast. It is hazardous to your future. You check the pronouncements tab. You don't have the permissions to that.
Oh, he just wasn't paying attention. Get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here, you bum.
All right, YOLO. I appreciate that. It was funny watching his reaction. This is like some Inception level shit. Like watching Lejeune type in our chat while I'm watching him. Let me type in his chat.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna type Inception.
This is the real secret invasion. It's like who's banned and who's not.
Is it? Yeah, I'm going to make some inquiries to see if there was anyone else who was suddenly had their role in the Discord removed.
Oh man!
Now I'm very curious because this is actual comedy. Look who's here, J. Coon Prime. You go to the movie for the first time in months and all works loose. So it's High Ruler and J. Coon's Prime fault. That's what we're getting here. If J. Coon Prime had to go into the movies and if High Ruler hadn't quote tweeted, JayShockblast would still be in the creator program.
But would you?
No, probably not. I feel like I was banned the moment the podcast started and Miller appeared.
Mm. I don't know. I don't get it.
I might not even be Miller. I'm an imposter. Wouldn't you feel silly then if it wasn't actually me?
Could be a deep fake.
Yup. I could just be another homosexual. You don't know that it's Miller. You know, we don't.
I hope Planet Apes was worth it, J. Coon Prime, for ruining JayShockblast's career with Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
If you were also banned by the Marvel Rivals Discord, let us know in the comments in the chat below. Let us know on Twitter. We want to know your story. We want to see some screenshots. Mostly because it's fun.
I gotta go play with this guy now. He can't even see straight.
Right, I know, right?
We gotta go play competitive. Oh no,
it's bad enough he's a Hulk main. Now we gotta work.
I thought he like committed crimes against the Hulk.
I I did see he made a new video about Monster Hawk being really good. You're thinking of joining the CC, but ended up not joining it. I mean, you probably would have been fine, Sean. You're not a Miller enjoyer.
Yeah.
You would have been fine. I'm sure you wouldn't have shared a screenshot of the contract you were given.
Oh, some of the quote retweets on that tweet have like on their own like hundreds of thousands of views.
Oh my god.
Zach Bussy quote retweeted it.
I knew the original tweet was blowing up. I didn't think it was this actually might be a thing.
No, yeah, it's what did we think was gonna happen? Like,
holy.
Again, I want to see that 10-year ban.
I mean, I wouldn't know if I was banned for 10 years, I guess, because I can't log into the game. I can't launch the game. And I wouldn't be playing it on PC anyway.
Because your computer didn't have a graphics card.
It had a graphics card. It was just a shitty one.
No, it didn't. It literally didn't. That's what integrated graphics mean. It means it's a tiny little thing on your motherboard that's just like showing the desktop.
So it's a graphics object.
Yeah. It's maybe not a card, but it's like a chip.
A graphic. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way, I wanted to play it on PlayStation anyway. Now, fuck that.
Well, hopefully by then this is all resolved.
Yeah, I don't imagine it will be. Well, we'll see what happens. This tweet does appear to be going rather viral.
Of course. And again, I want to say I declined to comment on it. Like, obviously now I talked about it, but like, I wasn't starting that conversation. Can't blame me for that.
And to reiterate, Jay was a complete professional.
And he even signed it.
Yeah, he didn't even ask for it to be amended. He just like, oh,
regrets.
Yeah, I like the game. This looks whatever. I don't care. Let's sign it. I'm ready to promote Marvel Rivals. I'm all aboard. And it's like, oh, fuck you. And your support. Okay. If that's how you want to play it.
Hold on, my Discord's asking about this.
A lot of people are asking about that.
I know.
This is kind of a big deal now. I was not expecting it. This is indeed a thing. But yeah, I definitely will say no matter whether you're a content creator or a lawyer or whatever you're doing, if you have to sign some a contract, make sure you thoroughly read it and understand it. And if you don't have a lawyer, use ChatGPT. Pretty solid at breaking it down. Oh, okay. Just got a message.
We're all like looking at our messages.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna not look at the Discord for a while. What's up, guns? If you're just tuning in, because of High Ruler and JQ Prime, me and JayShockblast have been removed from the Marvel Rivals content creator program.
I love how Jay Kuhn like just shows up from watching a movie and now he's part of the problem.
Also, obviously, because of Miller, because this is what it's all about. This is revenge for being associated with Miller.
I mean, you should have seen it coming.
I mean, I kind of did. I just didn't think they would be just blatant. I just didn't think they would be just blatant.
Yeah, this is.
I didn't think they were going to do anything to Jay.
Especially because I literally like was removing myself from that part. Like I wasn't even on screen. It happened like in real time when you said, "Hey, can you still see it?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, let me see if I can find like where I last talked to you and see what your name looks like." And then it wouldn't let me scroll anymore because I don't know.
You have been Thanos snapped out of the Discord.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're still in the Discord. They didn't give us the Miller special, the 999 day ban.
You know what? If I didn't message that person asking what was going on, I would just leave it right now. I don't care. Thank you, Lake Man.
Appreciate you, Lake Man. Welcome back. Welcome backstage, my friend. Thank you for supporting the channel, Lake Man. In defiance of this, let's boycott my rivals and play
if it's any
Suicide Squad.
consolation. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just reading Guns' chat. In defiance of this, let's boycott Marvel Rivals and play Suicide Squad. That sounds like a punishment. That sounds like a punishment more than anything. I thought you were going to say let's play Helldivers, which would be a punishment for Jay. but I enjoyed it enough, even though I wasn't fond of the last Warbond. Apart from the Impact Incendiary, pretty good addition to the game. No, yeah, we are Persona. We're almost on Miller's level of apparently hatred.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get a couple more bands before you.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah,
level.
You're definitely ahead of us by like a considerable margin. But
okay, I'm not gonna lie though. Just give me like 1 second. I just like want to open up the game and just make sure I'm not banned.
I've already done that.
Are you banned?
No.
Oh, good. They didn't ban you from so you can still play the game. You just well, we'll see if Miller can still play the game, but you just are not in the creator Discord anymore.
Which, whatever. I mean, honestly, I don't.
You rather boycott Suicide Squad for lack of content? I mean, I haven't played Suicide Squad in a little bit, but you don't have to boycott anything. I'm not going to tell people to boycott Marvel Rivals. If you feel very strongly about how Marvel Rivals treats its supporters, by all means make your own decisions. But yeah, I'm not going to tell people how to spend their time or money. You do whatever feels right to you. That is fine by me. Like, if you weren't interested in Marvel Rivals to begin with, and this pushes you further away from giving it a try, so be it. If you were enjoying Marvel Rivals or you're looking forward to it, yeah, by all means, don't deprive yourself on our behalf.
All right. Well, I would like to go cry myself to sleep now.
That's fair.
Oh, Jay. Oh, I'm not banned from the game. Nope.
Yeah,
no, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it, mostly because I'm tired. But I do have to get up at early so I can take a shower. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all your moms.
Absolutely. Shout out to shout out to the mamas. Shout out to all the baby mamas out there. Happy Mother's Day. Yep, I have a script to work on for a non-Marvel Rivals video. So
I gotta go play Marvel Rivals.
So if that. Well, my now Marvel Rivals actually was mentioned in the script, so I might have to remove it now. but yeah, so thank you for hanging out in what was the biggest episode of the Aftershow podcast of all time so far.
Yeah, and for ruining our lives.
Big shout out to everyone who came through on Twitter and on the YouTube side as well. Thank you for Miller for getting us kicked out of the creator program.
Oh, you're welcome.
thank you, High Ruler and J. Kun Prime for contributing to all of that by existing. I appreciate all of you guys. We'll catch you next week. If anything else happens, we'll keep you up to date and tell you exactly what is going on with the scope. Currently, the Marvel Rival contract thing is going super viral, so I'll keep tabs on exactly what is going on with that.
Sorry,
yeah, it's about
up.
Yep. Big shout out to Lake Man for becoming a member. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already to JayShockblast. Miller Ross, Miller with 8 M's on Twitter, Miller Ross on Twitch. You can check him out. He'll be streaming Marvel Rivals soon. So
come on, hang out. It'll be a blast.
And you also can hang out on his Twitter, where he data mines and provides you with all of the Marvel Rival leaks that you could ever want. And don't forget to, of course, subscribe to the Aftershow Podcast on YouTube. I'm Sadot the Gamer.
I'm Casual Avenger.
I'm Miller.
I'll let you have it for this week, Jay. You deserve it. Zip it up and zip it out. Peace.
His naysayers.